Hello, friends, and welcome once again to another single-serving tabletop adventure from Queen's Court Games. I am Aaron, and tonight I will be your director of operation as we finally solve the U-boat mystery. This is a scenario for the Troubleshooters written by Krister Sunderland. You can find it by putting exclamation point scenario or exclamation point game in chat. Every time I invent a new exclamation point command, V has to go make one. If you have new suggestions for commands that I can mess up the intro by introducing, let me know. I'll get her right on it. And because she is right on it, that is where we will start as we introduce our outstanding cast. She is the Console Command Commander, the Streambot Supreme Architect, Art Czar of the Court. It is V. Locke. V, how you doing?
Great, thanks.
Hanging out not far away, playing the race car driver, Sonya Volkov. It is the, I wanted to say audiologist, but that's a real thing, so I have to keep going to like audiogician or like audiographer of the court. It is Aubrey. Aubrey, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. How are you?
I'd be doing so much better if I hadn't flubbed so much of this intro, but I'm going to just power through it. Speaking of powering through it, there's a physics equation for power that's like speed times impulse, and the only person on this team who knows that will be our engineer Frederick, who is being played by Lola. Lola, how are you doing?
I'm good.
And lastly but not leastly, from the RP Geeksy, as cat burglar Katarina Bear, it is Shamini. Shamini, how are you?
Great, just noting down that rebrand there, RP Geeksy. Thank you. Yeah.
I feel like I've made it too posh, right?
Geeksy. What Geeksy's? I love it. It's great.
Geeksy is a very small, fluffy dog's name
Geeksy.
that is like walking through Chelsea, right?
Possibly.
Well, that is our cast.
Chelsea RP Geeksy.
Oh yeah, no, you have to say it like that. A little bit of Geeksy, you know. Yeah. I see it now. Yeah. Come along, Geeksy.
Oh, that's perfect. Soundboard that, please. If I need a, if I don't have Shamini's phone number, but when I do, that will be the text message notification that I get. So Shamini's like, "Are we starting at 5?" And my phone just goes, "Come along, Geeksy," but like not in that accent, in the better one. Anyway, this is a perfect segue to our content warning, because there is the possibility that today's game will involve drowning, which is what everyone here wants to do for me after that joke. You might also experience gun violence, anxiety, claustrophobia, and if those are the kind of things that you're not so keen about, don't worry about it. We've talked about it as a team, gone through our lines and veils. We want you to stay safe as well. Well, there's not much more to say on those facts. People have their chat commands. We have our safety tools. Are we ready to take to the streets of New York and then the straits of Sitomayang and then the bottom of the ocean to find out what's in the U-boat?
Yes.
Aye.
So ready.
Then let us continue our story. When last we left our delightful group of international freelance spies, they had left the Metropolitan Art Museum in New York City, a little bit of information in hand, entered into a cab, only to discover, oh my God, what did they discover, Emma?
That it was definitely not a New York City cab driver, and it was definitely a little bad for us.
How many hot dogs did they have, Aubrey?
At least 3?
There, yeah, 3-level hot dog goons. It's
Horizontal
big.
hot dogs.
Mhm,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, for the sake of not narratively throwing you into a terrible situation, I will say let's make awareness rolls and see if anyone happens to notice the I said octopus, like hot dog octopus.
Octopus.
If anyone
better.
notices the octopus before you get into the car. I know that Emma and Sonya have the highest awareness, but I'll take rolls from anybody if you'd like.
I have the highest awareness. You mean alertness?
Yes, I apologize.
I was looking for awareness and I couldn't find that, but I was like, I can find alertness.
Well, even though mine is the highest, I don't know why I roll this terribly every single time. That is a 97, so flipping it doesn't even help.
You know what it is? Emma just doesn't really engage with circus people.
Well, obviously. Obviously.
I shouldn't have bothered rolling. I rolled a crit. I rolled 100.
I
So
got
little.
8.
But then okay, so Sonya is the one.
Yay.
Goodness.
So I will ask in turn, Emma, what are you distracted by, and Frederick, what are you distracted by? Before Aubrey, before Sonya, I will let you grab like one person by the collar and be like, "Wait, there are octopuses!"
You know what it is I'm hungry, and I know that Frederick has snacks. So I'm like, I have like the tummy gurgles where I'm just like, oh my God, we've been running around. We haven't had time for snacks. Wait, Frederick, you have snacks, right?
Yes, but I didn't get much of a chance to restock whilst we were on the plane. Okay, fine, here. We'll reach into, let's take out. What do you want? Sandwich?
What do you
slices,
have?
Cheese?
What kind of cheese? It doesn't matter. I mean, cheese is good, but like, what else do you have? Like,
Do you have any platters in there? Like fruit platter, cheese platter?
No,
Something laid out on a
I do
board
have some
or-
quite nice cheeses. I've got this really lovely caramelized onion and ricotta. I've also got a plain red Leicester and Gruyere.
I love it.
And then of course
And
got
crackers.
salami and slices.
well, you have to have crackers.
Charcuterie.
So let's-
yeah.
So let's say this is the moment. This is the conversation that's happening, and then Aubrey's like, "Wait a minute, that's not cheese. That's a hot dog, and it's on his
Sonya.
neck. It's the octopus."
Ah!
What do you do, Sonya?
So it is kind of the idea of, I imagine we were walking towards the cars as this is happening, and it's like I realize this, and I grab somebody like by the collar and just like pull them back and being like, I have a really bad feeling about this. I have seen people like this around, like trying to shake down other race car drivers before. I don't think that's a cabbie.
You know what? Might be an opportune time to find somewhere to stop and actually lay out this feast. Maybe not in the car. Let's like wave them off. Be like, no, it's fine.
Like
it's fine.
a small
We're just gonna have a
picnic.
picnic.
Do you have a blanket with you? Because I don't really
Oh,
do
of course.
grass. Okay,
Of course.
great.
Of course.
This is why people hate tourists in New York City, because they're all trying to go about their business. Like, imagine being downtown London and some American just flops down a blanket on the sidewalk. Anyone who's tried to leave the tube station at Piccadilly Circus knows exactly the mood that I am trying to summon.
Yup.
So then there's this tense moment because like you're making eye contact with them and they're making eye contact with you, and like you can see the one of them kind of like reach over to a radio in the car or maybe an earpiece and be like, I think they've got us made, and like calling back to some kind of octopus HQ, but they know there's too much of a crowd. They can't start anything. But that doesn't mean they're going to let you leave their sight. So the cars do depart. If you look around, I don't know, does this crowd feel more tentacly to you than it did before? Now, they're not going to do anything. They're keeping an eye on you. They want to see where you go. And then when the moment is right, then the little suckers will come in and do what they do. That's the problem you will need to solve.
I think it's perhaps time to make another call. Perhaps we switch with the crew. for
That or we
for
make
the
a quick
plane.
getaway.
Yeah. Maybe a bit of a distraction. so we can
Borrow
get back to
someone's
our
car.
Oh, can I have director, can I have lots of fake cash?
I think, yeah, that's a story point item, but I think also Emma just does have a ton of cash.
I do have a wad of cash.
Oh, you do
And
have
what's
a lot of
great
cash.
is that because I assume it's not US dollars, so it's essentially fake cash here. So
How attached are you to your financial wealth, Emma, darling?
I think, fictionally speaking, the wad of cash is real cash, and it just happens to be whatever cash you need. Like there's no rule book part where you have to go to the exchange office.
I was just making a joke about international currency being fake cash in the US. Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends. What do you think?
I just really feel like being that person who like throws a bunch of money in the air and is like, free money for everyone, and then everyone's like, and then everyone's screaming, and then we just like suddenly slip away because we're rich and cool.
Yeah.
And like, we're so glad it's nothing to us.
We could do that.
Do you want to do the throwing? Do you want to be the throwing person? You have to like give off rich vibes.
I mean, I'm not really dressed for that, but you know what? Because I think maybe it should be Sonya. Because Sonya is like the international race car driver, right? So like, oh my God, Sonya's celebrating like her decent win, and she's just throwing winnings out to adoring fans, and we can use that kerfuffle to escape.
Okay, at that point, I'm gonna scream really loudly. Zoom, get any of that?
Nope.
Yeah.
You peaked so much.
It's like, oh my God, it's Sonya Volkov.
Oh my God, it's Sonya Volkov. Sign my boobs.
Oh, last parade.
That was the
Definitely
important
missed.
part.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be pointing at her and just being like, so like a really excited fan.
Imagine, Sonya, the attention you are getting now, because like so imagine the typical Formula One race fan, right? This is like a very like they come in two flavors, like obnoxious Americans or very serious Germans. I guess three. They're very smug French, right?
Yeah.
So we're in America. Most of them are obnoxious. It's also the 1960s, and you're a famous woman in a male-dominated field. So using that information, imagine the kind of attention that you are getting now, as people who maybe didn't recognize you or whatever are now like piling around.
No, do the thing where shake hands, being like, yes, it's wonderful to meet you, things like that. Lean into the try to be big and noticeable while I get slipped a lot of cash to throw.
Do you yell something about I don't know, what's the like, yeah, I know what wins for everybody? Like, is there a line that comes as you hurl the cash into the air?
I think it's more of something along the lines of, you know what? I feel like celebrating with everyone.
And then this cloud of cash comes sailing into the air, flittering down like a ticker tape parade. And if there's one thing that people love more than celebrities, it's money. So all of a sudden, the crowd just explodes into folks grabbing. And oh my God, Sonya, Sonya! And then like people scraping at your feet, picking up, well, you signed the dollar you gave me, oh my God, Sonya, you're the best. And you can see the goons now, like they can't obviously like start digging in because that'll take their eyes off you, but they also can't look too suspicious, and you've short-circuited their little lackey goon brains.
Yep.
I think we pick having kind of known roughly where they are, we pick a gap between some of them and slip out during the commotion.
And away you go. Well, there's not a role for like cause public panic, but I like this idea enough that I think we can say that it has worked.
I'll put story points.
That's a great plan.
We
can throw story points at it if you like.
I think you'll need those later. I don't want to get too spendy with them so far.
You'll just kidnap us again, and we'll get them all back.
That's true. So we've extricated ourselves from that position, and unless there's anything particularly pressing in New York we want to do, I think the next move is the airport, right?
Yeah, I have a feeling that the longer we stay here, the worse it's gonna get. So I don't want to give Octopus any more chances. It was already too close for comfort.
Totally reasonable by my book.
Let's go see to my own.
Back to the airfield. Of course, the Institute being who they are, the turnaround times on these are quick. This isn't Ryanair where it takes a while and you gotta go, right? They are boom, back to it. It's like flying in the fancy airlines. Which means, among other things, the mystical science beverage machine will have been recharged and restocked.
This time it does have marshmallows.
That's the difference between a 4-star hotel experience and 5-star. The 4-star, you have to ask. The 5-star, they remember and make sure you don't need to ask the next time.
Oh,
So you return into the decadent arms of Institute Air and begin sailing along the silver skies on your way to Sitomeang. Contextually, this is a scene where we're going to Indiana Jones redline. Just some information for you about Sitomeang. Like I said, it's in the Indonesian archipelago, the Southeast Asia part of the world. In the universe of the Troubleshooters, it was formerly a colony and then released after World War II. It exists somewhere at the intersection of Javanese and Indonesian and Malaysian cultures, kind of in that area. The capital is, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. The capital is, Selangit, Selangit, and that is where you will be landing. So the Institute craft comes down to the runway. You can tell it's one of those ones that got built during the war. It's way too big and too long for commercial aviation. V knows what I'm talking about because the airport in Iceland was a U.S. bomber base. So it's got like 3 more miles of runway than it actually needs for commercial airplanes. And that's the kind of field you land at. There are 2 things you will notice fairly immediately after the door opens. 1, it is like getting hit in the face with a hot, wet gym sock. Holy shit, is it hot, and is it humid, and it's sticky, and like you want to sweat, but you can't sweat because there's too much sweat on you, and there's no room in the air for the water to go. Second, you will notice there is somebody in a car, not a Land Rover, because I don't think those were around, but a Land Rover style vehicle, burning up along the tarmac. It's not paved all the way across. There's like a cloud of the dirt coming up behind it. Coming to meet you there, there's a woman behind the wheel. She is a bit short, like 5'5'1", very short black hair with like little bobcat bangs, and is wearing what you would probably describe as like a generic explorer's costume. So it has like the olive drab pants, the white button up with the kerchief, and then a nice little travel, not safari hat, not a pith helmet, but something in that range.
I was gonna ask if this was octopus, but
yeah,
this doesn't really have octopus vibes. Oh well, now with that shrug, now I don't know.
Can we vibe check?
Are octopus usually that well dressed?
It's hard to say. You've seen them in all kinds of different forms. The thing I think you would notice, getting to Sonya's point, is that you never really notice octopus to travel alone.
Also, has anyone got a good, her neck seems fine, which is currently our main technique, right?
Mm-hmm.
Check the neck.
No. Yeah. She's wearing a kerchief, so she might be hiding like 4 hot dogs back there. You don't know.
Let's find out as we kind of like pull up and I'm like patiently waiting for the people to open the door. Before they haven't even bought the stairs yet, and I'm like, hello, hi, sorry, darling. Do you work for Octopus, darling?
There's just like this blank, blinking confusion. Like when someone asks you something,
to help in case she doesn't speak English.
When someone asks you something that's just like so out of left field, you have to like empty out your brain and then refill it and go through the steps again, right? You can see her doing that, and then she's got like head tilting, and she just says, "No," as she lifts up a small white like card that has your names on it, and then on top the letterhead of La République.
What's that? Newspaper? Magazine? What is it?
It's a newspaper.
It's fine. No, gang. I think she works for a newspaper or something. They are, wow, how, like, they knew we were here. They sent someone with a car and a little sign. This is quality service. I am loving this.
Yes, La République is the newspaper that Pierre worked for, or still works for, ostensibly. I don't think they fired him for being kidnapped. I don't know how,
That would be really shitty.
No,
to be like, sorry, man, you got kidnapped. You can't
God. Well,
Can't
I
work for us
thought
anymore.
That would be-
I went dark with it. I thought that you were saying that he worked for because he's no longer
Yeah,
working for them.
that was some past tensing of Pierre that was happening there. Did we all,
Oh, sorry.
all catch that?
All I
Didn't think
meant
this was
is
that kind of an adventure, but
I'm not familiar with European labor laws, but I don't think they can fire you for being kidnapped. I think there's a protection somewhere in the especially in France. There's got to be a law that specifically for kidnapping.
Yeah.
After the after the Third Republic, they had to get a little more specific.
If they know that he's been kidnapped, maybe. If they don't, well, it's just unannounced sick leave, right?
Exactly.
Hmm.
And look, he doesn't ever go into the office anyways.
Yeah.
Sure, they might not even know he's missing, to be honest.
It's like, God, yes, that Pierre. Just, out there finding those stories.
Just disappears for months at a time, shows up with an article, and then off into the woods again.
Yep.
I say, darling, do you want a hot chocolate from the machine before we come down?
Just like, what? And you can see her kind of like craning her head up and like look at the machine.
Very good. There.
Yeah, I'll grab one and bring it down and kind of shove everyone off the plane, sort of.
There's a bit of there's Marvel, of course, that like normally, like if you want hot chocolate in Southeast Asia at this time, it's a bit more of an ordeal, and it certainly doesn't come out of a machine like that.
No,
But the
it
second,
was made. It was made by.
Ah.
It's all.
It's little people. They live inside the machine. They're great.
but I think the second amount of confusion is that like it's 110 and 90% humidity out here, and you've given them hot chocolate. Just kind of looking at it. But eventually, as all this is happening, as the excitement comes out, she will introduce herself as Marie Dufresnes. She is the local correspondent for La République. And because I assume at some point you will ask how she knew you were coming here, she has been contacted by the professor friend back in New York, who sent ahead to say these people are coming to investigate the Pierre and the U-boat thing. Marie was supposed to have made contact with Pierre at some point and has not, and is worried. And that is the genesis of her arrival.
Now, Marie, I know this must be a very concerning time for you. Worried about poor Pierre's safety. I just want to assure you that his heisting is our number one priority.
Yes.
We're going to heist him so good, we're going to show Octopus and we're going to heist him right under their nose. And also get a lot of gold or something, I don't know.
That was so great. I mean, and I heard you all were coming, and I mean, like, no offense, you didn't really look like the academic types, according to what the professor was saying. So I assumed that, someone, you were talented, capable. Did the newspaper send you?
I look at Emma.
Not La République. And I'm gonna hold up my press credentials, which I have, but are not, as useful probably as La République ones in this instance. But I say, yes, we are here. We know, Pierre is missing, obviously, and we are very, very concerned, but we have reason to believe that he is here or on his way here, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's not skeptical of you. There's if that's what you want to go with, she'll believe it. No reason to think otherwise. Frederick, as the conversation is going on, you will notice more about the vehicle, which, having returned to my notes, is a Toyota Land Cruiser. Marie affectionately refers to it as ma chérie, but you would probably refer to it more as a beat-up piece of shit. This Land Cruiser has seen way better days and does not appear to be especially reliable.
Are you sure that we can count on this? Let me just have a quick look under the hood.
Sure. So then I also think like if Frederick doesn't even have to ask permission, just sees it as broken and starts rooting around in it while they're all talking. But in either
all of this is internal.
Another case, if you want to knock out an engineering or a vehicles role, either one of those works.
Yeah. So I rolled a 92. I am, however, going to flip that. But yes, which should be fine because wait, no. Can I win on pips? With my toolkit?
Yeah.
Just
Your toolkit gives you +2 pips, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
Okay. So I don't even need to flip it.
Mm-mm.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, the pips thing is actually pretty cool. It sounds clunky when you first explain it, but then like you get into the game and it makes rolls a lot more interesting because like I rolled 11. Oh shit, -2 pips, right? Or so I like that little tension in it. But yeah, no, you have your toolkit out. You take the cheese toasty off the top and then get the tools underneath that and then go through and start messing around. I will say that based on your result, you have the expertise required to really get in there and fix what's going on to the point that if you need to make drive checks in this vehicle or someone needs to make drive checks in this vehicle, they will get +2 pips until such a time as like something happens that could break the engine, right? So if you get into a crash or it gets shot up, then those 2 pip bonuses are gone. So it's temporary but useful.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so where do we think is our best place to start?
Well, while Frederick has been busy with the car, I've been pulling out, all of the information that we have because we're here, we're looking for Pierre, and perhaps Marie has a little bit more information that she can give us because, we are here following leads and looking up on or following up on things that we found. So I'll mention the fact that, we are here, we're looking into this U-boat because we know that that's what Pierre was looking into. We have a couple leads to follow. We know that there's an art collector here. The name, oh my God, I'm so sorry. The name escapes me and I cannot see it in my notes. Booty. B-U-D.
Booty.
Okay. Who, has a copy of a piece of artwork that we found in New York as well. And we have reason to believe that might have come from the U-boat. So we were hoping to speak to him if Marie happens to know off the top of her head where that is, so we don't have to go find that art gallery.
Can I make one small suggestion or change to this? That this conversation is happening in the car so that we're not just sitting on the tarmac sweating our respective genitals off.
Oh, sure.
Excellent. So then you will be grateful then, those of you, as you pile in for the breeze, windows down. It's still sticky, but at least you have that nice cool air. And you're mentioning the art collector. There's a bit of information that kind of comes out all in the context of this conversation. That you mentioned that you're looking for the U-boat, and that is actually one of the things that Marie has been pursuing here. Pierre mentioned he was going to kind of push this angle. Could she do some legwork ahead of time? And she has, in fact, identified that the locals, it's about 25 years ago when the war was, went on the beach to watch this naval battle between like allied forces and some invisible enemy. They didn't know what a submarine was at the time, and like it's not clear that they understand naval warfare in that way, but they could see the allied ships circling around and an explosion thrown out in the air and all that. Then the island is liberated, things kind of go back to normal. There are many shipwrecks in the area, both from before the war, a lot more during the war, and like even now, something gets knocked across a sandbar or whatever. But based on the location of the battle and kind of everything goes, it's most dense near this coral reef, which is only 14-ish miles off the coast. They have never, like, no one's of course been diving to look for. There's no salvage operations. Local fishermen just know you don't throw your nets there if you like your nets, because they're going to get caught on something and go away. That is about as far as she's been able to narrow it down. When you mentioned the art dealer, you get this just disgust, eye roll. Imagine the same kind of face like someone you would make if someone like reminded you of an ex you're not proud of. And like, hey, V, you remember that one time with a little Jimmy? And you're like, ugh, that face. And she's very quick to say, like, yeah, look, I mean, after the war, like, yeah, I get it. In Germany, it's not super popular to be a Nazi right now, but there are all kinds of people who just like, it's like a fetish for them and they just collect things. But he's mostly just weird. I've been keeping an eye on him, but no, aside from having incredibly questionable taste in art and a kind of misguided sense of history, he's mostly just a rich guy.
What about the coelacanths? Emma, tell her about the coelacanths. They're probably super important. I think we have the
Theodonia.
document. We
Theodonia.
wave the document at her.
Wave the document.
Oh, so I didn't think we were going to the ships. I thought we were actually going to talk about the coelacanths, and I was like, how do I get myself out of this situation?
I meant in the general context of that there might be a marine expedition.
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm?
Have you been keeping an eye out on any of the non-fishing ships or none of the local ships? Because we have the information that there's a research vessel heading out.
Research vessel.
Yeah.
That causes her to arch an eyebrow. She doesn't know a ton about the vessel specifically. She knows nothing at all about coelacanths. You mentioned that, and it's just like in one ear.
Damn it.
You can see the light in the eyes go out as that fact passes through her head and then comes out the other side. But she does know there's only one dock in the area that would be available for that. Again, so this is post-World War II. Cities like this, like the Allies came in and built enormous infrastructure, but only enough that they needed. And then the towns and the countries afterwards can't really like maintain the whole, like American industrial complex that requires. So there are only a few piers left in service that could host a vessel like that. Everything else has been kind of left to ruin or taken over by fishermen. So she'd be happy to show you where that is if you wanted to go check it out.
I feel like we should. Do we think they're octopus or do we think they're rivals to octopus? Because Pierre was investigating the ship and then Pierre got heisted, right? So I feel like they're all in it together. And if we find that ship, we find octopus and we find Pierre.
So though there was the contact that Pierre was indeed coming to look for through the warhouses.
Johann Fresno,
yes,
the survivor. He'd know.
Whether or not the people on the expedition are working for Octopus or are just Nazis, it's a bit like if you are sitting at a table, 12 people and one member of Octopus, you're sitting with 13 members of Octopus, right? Same kind of thing. So even if it is independent, it's not that far away, would be your guess. Also recall that the woman who I wanted to say sword fight, but it was actually just chicken feather with you was definitely Octopus. So that's all that tied up.
Marie, do you know a chap called Johann Fresno?
She's heard the name.
Like an old guy.
She's heard the name because Pierre had put it forward.
Yeah.
She hasn't actually been able to really pin him down and find him, but that's also an area that you could explore. She knows the area, so she can get you to locals and she can take you to different places, but she has not been able, as of yet, to locate Johann.
I say we sneak aboard that boat and search it, and then hide.
Yes, if it hasn't already left, I think that's probably a good idea. It'd be interesting to see what they're up to on the boat.
If it is just leaving, like if we were arriving as it was leaving, I could maybe like backflip onto the boat from the dock. No, I'm not going to do that. That sounds terrible. I retract that.
Get on the boat.
I'm not much for backflipping.
I just wanted an opportunity to backflip, but now that I think about it, that would be backflipping across open water, and I'm not going to do that. We're going to scratch that plan. Maybe we don't need to go see a boat at all. Do boats really need to be involved? Is this really a mystery that involves boats? I don't think so.
We were looking for a boat.
Apart from that.
Do you think it's perhaps on the boat is the thing?
Yeah, all right, fine, okay. A little bit of boating may be involved. It's probably fine.
So I will tell you that whether or not Pierre is on the boat, the MS Adonia is the vessel that Octopus has kitted out to go find this. So if there's any information that Octopus has that you don't, it would be on the boat. If your intent is to stop Octopus from getting it, you could deal with the Adonia that way. Sabotage it, ruin their equipment, whatever, stop them. You would still, of course, then have
Need
to go to
get
see
another boat,
because
yeah.
you don't want to just be like, all right, we've sabotaged their one boat. Surely that is the end of their effort, and they will never go again, right?
But find the gold before they do.
But that is definitely an option. I will post for you in the chat what the Adonia looks like. You can get a proper sense of the scale. That is for you.
Wait to see.
Maybe
That's
a thing that
you should know boat.
might be a thing we can sneak on and maybe hide out and ambush when it's the right time.
Marie, to the docks.
Very well. Is this the kind of thing you want to do during the day, or are we waiting for night?
I think it would be best at night, especially if they haven't set out yet.
Mm-hmm.
The cover of Nightfall is. I would like to
Let's check that
avoid
they're
any
still there. Yeah.
situations.
Indeed, yeah. The boat hasn't left yet. Some more context, information that you would have been able to get. Well, actually, maybe not, because things like the manifest and the shipping records you really wouldn't have access to. That's the kind of thing that would be in the harbor master's office.
Ooh.
I thought you said
Well,
there's
then
only one dock in it, and that the rest of them
Yes.
shipping boat. So we can see if it's still there, right?
Yes, you can see if it's still there. But what I meant
Okay.
was if you wanted to know like the cargo manifest or the history of the vessel, who
Right.
it's registered to, all of that would be in the harbor master's
Right.
office.
Can we go to the dock? We see that it's still there. Can we ask around and try and find out what time it's leaving? Can we do a call before? I just don't want to go off doing a little sneak into the harbor master office and we come back and it's gone and we're like, God damn it.
So you be able to tell.
Yeah, they're not ready yet, right? They're still loading.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
crates
cool,
and stuff
cool,
around.
cool.
It's mm-hmm.
Okay, do you think getting into the harbour master's office would need some backflips?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, how else do you get into the harbor master's office? I mean, I guess you could walk through, but like backflip through, so much better.
I do some backflips
Mhm.
towards the harbour master's office.
Are you all going together? So it's like it's Sonya, Frederick, and Emma walking.
Yes,
And then Katarina
absolutely.
backflipping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is
Just
Katarina
casual.
backflipping? Is
Casually.
Katarina backflipping in the front of the line or at the back of the line?
Next, we're all walking in a row, and I'm just like next to them, just.
Excellent.
Mhm.
I think I'm probably gonna knock and draw out the harbour master if they are in there.
I quickly stand up from my last backflip, so they don't see me backflipping.
If we're going at, that was the D10 just escaping. If we are going at night, the harbor master, that's a 9 to 5 job. It's a union job, not going to be there unless something else going on. But we will say there's a couple of guards patrolling around, not with any particular urgency. These are just folks like to keep kids from getting into trouble. So one stealth check for the group would do it if someone wants to lead that endeavor.
I would like to I would like to stop backflipping and go, you know what, actually, I just remembered backflipping is not the most stealthy way to get around.
Exactly. Could I spend some story points to say, like, I don't know, if there are like lights around here that they're having some problems,
Yeah.
so it's a little bit easier to stick to darkness.
If you'd like, yeah, you'll get +2 pips on your roll in exchange for 2 spends.
I'm going to spend 2 story points to flip mine. Oh no, I don't need to. It's a 2. It ends in a 2. 92. Okay, good.
Mhm.
Oh dear.
I will say that so if Katarina's passed her roll, we're good. Like
Oh god.
we're not going to roll 4 times and then one person fails and then it was all
That's
for
fair.
naught. That's some ridiculous D&D shit, and we don't do that here. So the yes, and I also wanted to say, Katarina, there's something in the rules that says you cannot backflip stealthily. So you can.
I do one extra little cheeky little stealth backflip
Mm-hmm.
just because I can't resist.
So that will get you to the harbor master's office. It is locked, but not in a meaningful way. Again, is there anything of value here? No, it's locked to keep the honest people honest and the adventurers not being adventurous. So quite easy to go inside. Can I get a search? Sorry.
I was just going to say, I think Katarina sort of makes a big deal. I was like, don't worry, everyone. I will tackle this fiendish challenge. It may take me some time. And then it's just like, I'm like, oh, no, okay, never mind. Open the door.
Peeks open. It's also like wooden. It wouldn't have been that hard to just bash it down if you needed to. Once you're inside, because it is, again, so on the bright side, it's not a professional harbor master's office, so it's very easy to get inside. On the not bright side, it's not a professional harbor master's office. Shit is everywhere. So I would take investigation or search to find the actual information you're looking for.
Decent enough search.
I got a 45 in search.
Got 65.
Yours is better than mine. I got a 45.
So apparently I can only roll high, and this is another 100.
No! What are you doing?
It's not doubles.
On
It's
a
just
D100. It's not.
I would-
It's not technically a critical fail.
No, it has to be
Still.
doubles through that. I think the problem is that it's unorganized, and that just like Frederick, you know, when you like you've
No,
let
I
laundry.
think Frederick is me and has ADHD and is like, oh, but this should really go here, and now is organizing this office.
Oh, oops.
Can I
Yeah.
make an argument for red tape?
Oh, it's admin, right? It's like
So yeah, so
paperwork, bureaucracy.
it's kind of like it's. I know this isn't exactly searching archives, but we are looking for like documents on like the ships and stuff in the harbor. If not, that's fine.
Yeah, because I think red tape would be good if it were organized bureaucratically.
But it's
As
not.
opposed to-
Okay.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I had to ask.
No, I appreciate the energy, and under almost any other circumstance, like yeah, sure, whatever. But this is
But this is
Yeah.
no. Yeah. Okay.
this is a lot less like trying to find something in an organized sock drawer, and more like there's a pile of laundry in the center of the room, and you're looking for the one T-shirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to roll something, or shall I? I assumed you had a high.
Search. You'd be
investigation.
wrong. You'd be wrong.
Aaron, did you say-
investigation,
Or
yes.
investigation. I believe you said?
Investigation. Yes. I can. I'm great at
Yes, sorry, that's
investigating.
what I
I'm
was-
terrible at searching.
Yes.
That is 61.
Does that pass?
It does. Yes. Apologies. Mine is 65. So yes, it passes just barely, but
Right.
it passes.
But only there's a combination of effort because what has happened is that Frederick is getting distracted trying to organize the place, and that is actually helping you process of elimination things, because you know everything that's in a proper stack is not what you're looking for, and the two of you like not working together on purpose but ending up in like a symbiotic kind of system located.
Love that.
So what you will find is that the MS Adonia is it is a Royal Navy surplus vessel. It was released after the war. It used to be a minesweeper, and then it was donated to the University of Hamburg after the war, and then converted into a research vessel. This information is not in the documents, but will be good for you to know. It is 42 meters long, and then 7.6 meters across at the beam. So the fattest part, side to side. Has a crew of up to 27 passengers, and it is currently anchored in the harbor for resupply. It is due to depart sometime after noon tomorrow
Ooh.
to go out on its mission.
What exactly is it resupplying right now? Are there manifests that tell us if there's anything aside from like food or water, anything interesting?
Yeah. There's the normal equipment that you would expect, right? Like canned peaches, canned, 40, right? The other information is that they are taking a diving bell with an airlock on board that had to be registered and brought in. That specific technology is on loan here from Adwanar Schifhart GmbH. It's a German company. It's not important, don't bother writing it down. The point is that they had to bring in special equipment that got customs warehouse moved to the thing. And along with that diving bell, there are pressurized diving suits, a deep sea air compressor, scuba gear, and underwater cutting torches. In addition to those things which are obviously not coelacanth related, there is no fishing equipment or lab science equipment. They're loading up fuel, food, and underwater fuckery equipment.
Is there anything on the manifest about where those items are located before they get on the ship?
I guess. Oh, do I know enough about this to improvise? I think that it would have come in on a crate. The crate would have been numbered or labeled, right? I don't know if we've done serialized yet. So either it's on the boat and you could find it already installed, or it is on the dock and you'd be able to tell based on the crate number, right?
Yes.
Does that sound plausible?
Yeah.
I think so.
I'm just thinking perhaps we can thwart them in a way and secure some of this stuff for ourselves.
Ooh, you want
Heist it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very pro heisting of all things. While this has been going on, talking about heisting, I am trying to climb up to the most awkward point to reach in the ceiling of what I assume is quite a small office, so there's not a lot of creativity to go with, and just tying a white ribbon to maybe the bare plastic of a light bulb.
Excellent.
I'm the lookout.
Oh, good idea, Sonya.
The harbor master is going to come in. He's going to find his office completely reorganized and then see the white ribbon and be like, oh, how many use of that white ribbon to organize my office?
You know what? I am happy to be known for a wide variety of deeds. I mainly just want to be known. I've got to admit, that's
a mood. We all just want to be known.
That's what I'm really going for.
Yeah.
So, some people, it's steal from the rich and give to the poor. Katarina, steal from the rich for sure. I don't know about giving away to the poor, but I will help them with their admin.
Exactly.
No, I will get Frederick to help them with their admin. Yeah. I don't do that. Frederick, if this takes off, we're going to need to become a double act, okay?
Really ignoring you because it's far too engrossed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yes, if you'd like to heist the equipment, that is hilarious.
Oh,
and
my God.
I'm happy to do that. If you wanted to just sabotage it, so they load it up and then it doesn't
so
work,
much easier,
that's
but
also
less
fine.
fun.
I think the argument would
we
be
need the equipment.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say it's going to be harder for you to get away with the equipment because that is a benefit that you get. If you just want to take a benefit away from them, that's going to be narratively easier. So we'll handle that.
Can I just spend some story points to blah 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 blah, for there to be another ship on this manifest that we could possibly get it onto that is reasonably nearby, just to give us a
so it would look like we're just going from here to there.
Is this a ship
on
that
the same dock?
Is this a ship that you just want to stash it away on so they don't know where it is, or one that you want to commission for yourselves? And
yes, I do believe we might commission this ship as well. Just in case.
Yeah, you don't spend story points because there are other ships here. There aren't a ton. Earlier when I said the Adonia would have to be at this dock, this is the only dock that can hold those ships, but it is also a port where bigger and smaller ships are coming in. You would be able to locate something. I would say that your story point spend there would be, there's probably an old trawler, right? This is a Royal Navy mine layer. There's also a Royal Navy putter around in the water, Coast Guard-y kind of one surplus, or an old American tug that you could get. And if you wanted it to be perhaps more sophisticated or more seaworthy, then that would be something to consider.
I'm happy to spend them. Is that a 2 or a 6?
Kind of depends on what you want out of it.
I think assuming that there's another finding and obtaining a boat happening, I think if Katarina looks at the little less swanky ship while you're there, Frederick, she might nudge you towards yeah, that's a little small, isn't it? Oh, it's a little ickle. Look at that little ickle ship. Have you considered? Is there a cruise liner available? Some sort of transatlantic type vessel,
Katarina, we don't necessarily want to draw all
Just-
of the notice.
something sort of big and very, very stable, something unsinkable, but actually this time.
Well, let's abstract this for a moment. So you have this kind of like leaky rust bucket trawler, right? For 2 story points, we can say that it's still going to be cramped, but is incredibly more seaworthy in a way that will make Katarina feel better. And if you wanted to go to 6, then it was actually like a proper military festival, a proper military vessel. It will have festival. It's a holiday where we all just, it'll be faster, it'll be more resistant to explosions. That's the kind of thing that happened. More horsepower in the engine, more stuff like that. So we can go from those levels.
I'll spend the 6. I think
wait, no,
it's-
why don't I spend the 6? I was the one who was pushing for it. I will spend the 6.
Okay.
Can I pause though? Because what we've done chronologically is created a little bit of a pickle. Because as it is now, you're going to heist these things onto their boat and then show up the next day and be like, hello, we're the people who heist things onto your boat. We'd like to hire you. So do we want to do a flashback?
I think doing the flashback is a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember when we hired that really seaworthy, very stable, very large, unsinkable ship earlier? I loved that. That was good
Exactly.
times, wasn't it?
Such a wonderful, nice captain, man of a captain.
Oh, he was so
sweet.
He is a nice
Yeah,
man of
adorable.
a captain. He is not a generous work for free kind of a captain. And Emma has already used the
Emma,
wad of cash.
Why did you give away a wad of cash?
What? Yeah. I'm gonna shove you into the water.
You actually?
I do.
I don't think she's going to.
Not yet.
Sonya, you were saying.
I have stat in status, so
Okay.
I am relatively famous. Lean into that. I don't know how much I have in the way of assets. But
You can roll status on the idea like I'm good for it, right?
yeah, I'm good for it.
Hold on. I have been everywhere. Can I spend a story point to happen to know somebody with a boat at this location?
No, this very nice captain.
Can it be this particular nice boat? Because I like this one. This specific one.
We've gotten so many different things tangled up in order. So it would have to be like, yes, you can spend a story point to know this captain. And then Katarina has to spend the story point to be like, also, by the way, his boat doesn't suck. And then,
Yes.
And then we get to Sonya saying like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, I know you. I can't put fucking knowing people into the engine of my ship to make it go. So then Sonya, you'll get +2 pips on the back of Emma's connection on your status roll to say I'm good for it. We'll get you paid. Does that make sense?
I love that. Yes.
Okay. This is Blades in the Dark. Just gets going. I want a flashback. Like, oh god.
Yeah.
Flashback,
I
a bit
know.
of flashback.
We're
doing
Inception.
And yeah, that is a 41 out of 45.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Passes underneath your on pips too, so that way you're good to go.
Mhm.
Then that meeting, which we have just like blitzed through, but that's okay. Is
That all happened.
so to set the narrative, how did we get here? We got off the plane. We give a very
Yeah.
confused woman a hot chocolate. We drove into town. As you're going, you ask about the art gallery. Nah, just a Nazi fetishist, no big deal. Do you know where Johann is? I mean, no, I kind of. What about the boat? Yeah, and like also, hey, Emma says I used to know so and so. Is he around? Or you can say, oh, so and so is probably at the bar, like he has been, whatever. You go, you meet so and so. He's like, of course, I'd love to help you with a boat. Like, yeah, we go way back. Remember that one time I took you on that whale watching cruise? And then Emma's like, wow, this boat's a lot shittier than I remember. And Katarina goes, I wish this boat was better. And then, as if by magic, it is better.
Is that what happens in the narrative, is it?
Yeah. Oh no. So Emma's like, wow, this boat looks a lot better than like I remember. And he's like, yeah, I've been doing really good business, so I've been able to upgrade. But my operating costs are higher, so I can't just take you around for free. And then Sonya says, it's okay. I'm Sonya fucking Volkov. I'm good for it. And he's like, oh, wow, one of the only foreign names that I remember from the newspapers coming in reporting race results. Okay, that all makes sense. At this point, do you intend to tell him that you're gonna be like, oh yeah, we'll pack our goods on, and then just not mention the cargo bit? Like let that be a thing he discovers.
Yeah, I think because since I know him, right, and we go way back to that whale watching cruise, I think is what you said. I'll say, we do need to leave tomorrow, and I know this is very short notice, so we will take care of getting all of our items on board and ready to set sail tomorrow.
Excellent. Okay, so then totally fine. He writes up a little contract, a little bill. Sonya signs it. Then you go, more stuff, wait until nighttime, have some drinks, see the locals, go to the beach, whatever, however you want to spend that time. Then we arrive at the backflipping stealthily into the harbor master's office, loading the thing, and now Frederick has said, wait a minute, we can steal all their very expensive shit and put it on Emma, what's the captain's name?
The captain's name is I call him Marky Mark.
I like this because I want him to have been at one point a marquis, like an actual French marquis, and he was here doing like viceroy shit, kind of like third son, not important. So his name is Mark, but it's Marquis Mark, and now it's Marky Mark.
Marky Mark. Exactly. Yes.
At some point, he's going to form a band with some very funky gentlemen, and they're going to take off, but not today. So, Captain Mark signs the bill. You say, we're going to load the stuff up. Frederick, this is where we arrive. Now we can get to loading these things up. The crate's fairly big. Diving bells are super heavy, so we're going to need some machinery. There are forklifts around, of course, but there are also guards. So what's the next move?
This is quite a large dock. So, one of those lights that just kind of went out a little bit. Maybe it didn't just go out. Maybe it sparked a little bit, and maybe something might have caught a little fire, and the guards are going that way to investigate that as a bit of a distraction for some story points.
So if you want to get to the point where you're just completely ignoring the threats, then you got to go all the way up to 6 for that.
Okay.
Like 2 gets you an advantage, but if you just I don't want to fucking deal with this problem, that would be 6.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that Frederick would specifically try and engineer. They are not one for...
Worth saying, if you're ever stuck in any game, this is advice for anyone watching. If you're ever stuck in any game and what to do, look at your character sheet, find the things you're good at, see how you can make that work in this situation. So,
Frederick will very literally jury rig something to break or blow up to create a distraction elsewhere.
Yeah.
Do so.
Yeah, you can do that without story points. Or the Katarina and Sonya, if you use something on your sheet, we're like, oh, wait, how would I distract these guards? You can just choke them out.
Steal their car.
That happens all the time, right? Like, you can find a way to make the narrative happen without being like, I'm just going to spend story points because I don't have anything else going on, right? So, Frederick, if you want to sabotage a generator somewhere, a Jenny somewhere, then by all means, have at. But if other folks want to jump in on it,
I think you should go for it. Yeah.
I think I'm sabotaging the Jenny.
Okay. So machinery or mechanics, I don't recall off the top of my head what the skill is called.
There is one.
Or engineering would work.
Oh, engineering. Engineering is my better skill. But my rolls are always terrible, so... Oh, I say that and I get a 29, so...
Hey.
All right. Either one is fine. It happens. Happens so good.
Outstanding. Then yes, you are able to effectuate the outcome you are looking for. I'm
And
gonna
in
assume...
such a way that I am nowhere near it when they come towards it to look.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you took timed fuses in engineering undergrad. Like you know how to put a time delay switch on something fun. I also assume that you let everyone else know that this was happening.
Oh yes.
So then we have Frederick sets it up, sets the timer. You all sneak out of the harbor master's office. 3 of you are doing a little sneaky. Katarina is still very stealthily backflipping. You get to it's another crate the guards are pathing and you're all like stacked up against it, a bit like the Three Stooges, where you're all like kind of peeking around head. And then what noise does the generator make when it goes off, Frederick?
It's this. I won't make it because that would be awful for everybody. But it's this kind of whine that gets louder and louder, and almost as if it's going to start shaking up its off its platform, and then there's just this really loud crash and explosion that happens.
Like that. Like you've taken off like the rate limiter, so it's the sound of the gear spinning faster and faster and faster, and then eventually like goes out of tolerance, and then the gear flies off the edge, and the machine just kind of comes apart. Excellent. So yes, a proper industrial cacophony coming out, and that is the signal. Now, again, crates very heavy. Bless you. How are we gonna get them on the boat?
I'm not forklift certified. Sorry.
I can drive. Am I forklift?
Yes.
Yeah, there is no subset of forklift skill. So I assume the author's intent is that if you can drive a race car, you can drive a forklift. Don't let Reddit know, but that's actually where Sonya came up on the racing circuit. You don't get to start at Formula One, so she actually got her start in the local forklift racing circuits.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I'll take it, yeah. Are the keys in it? I don't know. Story points, yeah, keys are in it. Else, you could do the prestidigitation to hotwire a forklift. Because we are well
That
before.
sounds like so much more fun. Sorry.
I mean, I don't have great prestidigitation.
I happen to know people here who do.
Yeah.
Katarina.
Is it to do with locks and keys and breaking into things? Can I break into something, please?
Hotwire a forklift?
Okay. Where do I leave the ribbon in that scenario? Or
Tied on
It's on
the
the steering
place
wheel.
of the
I
crate.
think. In the place of the crate. I like that.
okay, great. Okay, that's fine then. Okay, I'm gonna try and Hot Wheel forklift. Not my usual house, but hey. Oh no. I was an 81 over 65.
Do you not have a lockpicky thing that gives you pips on security stuff?
No, but I can spend one story point for lockpicker, if you will allow me. Oh yeah, prestidigitation or engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I shall spend one story point to make that an 18.
It is not the most interesting or prestigious prestidigitation you've done, but it comes across. And then Sonya, this is not a pass-fail situation. This is a see how long it takes situation. Will you make your drive check?
Sure.
How long has it been since you've driven a forklift?
It's been a couple of years at least.
Are forklifts like bicycles? Wait, a couple of years? Whoa. I was thinking it'd be way longer. You know, sometimes you just got to get back to your forklift racing roots.
Exactly.
Look, she had to do something when she was like off the circuit, right? Like she had a job, okay?
Yeah.
Before she started winning money, she would race Formula One, and then in the off season was just a fucking forklift driver at some dock.
Yep, absolutely.
Look, yeah,
Yep.
you got to earn money, especially when you don't have those sponsors.
I understand
Like,
completely.
it's expensive. You know, I don't have like Red Bull paying for my car. And I got a 64 out of 75.
Nice. Okay, so it's not going to proceed like exceptionally quickly, but it's not going to take a long
Look,
time.
I have to follow procedure.
Right. If you fucked around, they would take your forklift license away. So that
I gotta
Sonya,
have that backup job.
will get you. That will cover the diving bell and the airlock. That is the big stuff that requires the forklift. The rest of you you're the ones that are going to be handling the compressor and the scuba gear and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So that being the case, we can do like a strength check to haul the entire thing together. If you just want to pull stuff out, I'm getting that. But Sonya is going to be tied up with the diving bell. And we only have so much time before the guards are done with that rattling machinery.
Yeah.
I say we prioritize the not the scuba gear, but everything that they were going to do down there, which must be harder to get, right? The underwater cutting torch and that sort of thing, because they could replace scuba gear quite easily, I imagine, compared to the other stuff.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, let's
Yeah.
say this. There are three of you. Any reasonable skill that you can come and think of a way that it would help you get the stuff. If you just want to carry the torches, that's fine. But how are we going to get in the crate? Anytime someone fails, you will have to pick one item off the list that does not make it onto Mark's boat.
Oh no.
Can I jury rig some kind of words?
Like a dolly or a handcart?
Yes. Or I could just find one, I guess.
No, make one.
Okay, I'm going to reinvent the wheel.
These donuts would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, by all means. Vehicles, I think, is most appropriate. Engineering also works.
Yeah. 25. So yes, absolutely.
Nice.
It's even better than anything they could have possibly had.
They're gonna come back and be like, "Damn, this is nice." Emma, Katarina, what about you?
I am going to use my very relevant skills. Can I? Because the most useful thing that I could do is like keep an eye out and make sure we don't get got, like using like security and stuff like that. But does that doesn't quite count as like lifting and carrying things? While I'm lifting and carrying things,
I don't want you to think about something I have to do to lift and carry. I'm saying we're having a
okay.
scene like in this big narrative.
Oh, okay,
Sonya's hauling the thing, and then Frederick has made a cart. How are you
Right.
contributing to like this little Ocean's 11 moment?
yeah, I'm keeping an eye out for the people who I'm basically. There are going to be some people who are still around, people who are looking. I'm like occasionally shouting like freeze, and then everyone just like freezes where they are without moving. Yeah.
All right. So security then from you. Emma, did you come up with anything?
It's 52 under 75.
Unfortunately not really. I'm super useless. Unfortunately, I apologize.
Why don't you form your red tape into a sort of basket and then put the scuba gear in the basket?
Not for nothing. Customs is red tape. So rolling red tape to like be able to, to take like the custom seals apart without causing trouble, or to replace them with something else so that doesn't look like things have been stolen. All of that is definitely in the universe of red tape. I know you've never been in the import expert business, so that's
yeah,
why
I
I'm sure you
haven't.
had it at hand.
Yeah, thank you. I because I was like, I was like, well, how can I use red tape? Could not figure it out. Sure, let's attempt that, because that is probably going to be the best way that I can be useful.
Super funny.
That is a. Oh God. Okay. Well, that's an 82, so less useful.
Then I will let you decide.
Ooh. I can spend 1 story point to flip red tape because I'm not home.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that. So it is a 28 instead, which is much better. 28 under 65.
So then we have assembled this scene where Sonya has the forklift, and then she's driving it up and getting it settled exactly on the marks, proper load balancing. She didn't spend 6 weeks in that class for nothing. And then Frederick has the cart, and then Emma has procured a clipboard from somewhere and is like has the pencil and is like, yeah, no, that one, and that one. And Frederick has the cart and is getting it, and then like the two of you are pushing it behind, and then Katarina yells, "Stop!" And then like you kind of freeze in place, and then a guard like walks by, and then she's like, and then the cart wheels behind the guard now, right? And you manage to get all of these loaded up on Mark's ship. At some point, I'm going to ask somebody what the name is. So I'm not going to be on the spot right now because that's hard to do. But between the 4 of you, like thinking of boat names, because I'm going to grab somebody in the future. And then you extricate yourself from the situation. You have stolen the gear from the octopus. I think in our flashback land, it makes sense that you have stolen it. You want to leave at the right time, because if it's on the boat still in 8 hours and like you're having breakfast, Octopus is going to be like, hey, that's our shit on that boat, right? You need to be taken off ahead of time. So do we want to say it's in the morning that happens?
We want to leave early, right? Early.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Well, yeah, because if they're
wake up.
if Octopus is leaving in the afternoon, we should get there before them.
We're going to get there before them. We're going to find the gold. We're going to be super rich. We may or may not heist Pierre back at some point. I don't know. But gold.
Oh, yes. If we get it before them, then whilst they're down there looking for it, they can,
then we can heist Pierre.
Yes.
Oh, that's so clever. You're so smart. You're so smart. Also, we'll be really rich, so I love this plan.
None of you have very good strength, and gold is heavy, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, boy. Oh, also, I left white ribbons.
I mean,
all
I
over my ship.
got a 45 strength.
Nice. There
It's
we go.
not amazing, but it's not horrid
And when you
either.
don't have strengths, you have pulley systems.
Oh, yeah, you don't need to be strong. That's
Yes.
Frederick's like, I don't need to be strong. I have a mastery of simple machines. All right. Then we're gonna head off in the morning. It's gonna be on your navigation to find the U-boat. If we're leaving without going to get Johan.
Wait, we forgot to get any information about where it was. We know Coral Reef. All we know is Coral Reef.
Yeah, we know Coral Reef, where they say don't take your nets.
Oh yes, we were going to sneak onto the boat.
We did sneak onto the boat. Wait,
Took
Oh,
their
we
equipment instead of figuring out.
we forgot to search. Can we do a little bit of searching of their boat as well as
During that
stealing?
flashback?
Sorry, I forgot to
that-
search for information.
You want to search the Adonis?
Yes.
Okay.
While
we don't
we're
need,
stealing things.
yeah, we don't need to rewind, because we can just say once you have loaded up the equipment, that's stage 1. Stage 2 is then going to be to dip onto the Adonia and take care of things. Now,
I'm gonna do it.
I will say the Adonia is big.
Nah.
As you've seen the picture, there's actually room for a helicopter on it, so it's not a small boy. It would be I'll put it this way: it's got like a D&D. This is what all the rooms are and what you find in them list in the adventure book. So going that way is a thing. You could try to go find. Yeah, you don't know where Johan is. Never mind. So I was gonna say you could make like a willpower check to stay awake and get that, or you can just try to find it. It's kind of up to you.
I wanna go onto the ship and try and find where like the nicest cabins are, and look in, whoever I think is probably Dr. Erwin Yeager's cabin. But like, if it's not there, then it's not there. But that's because we've got limited time, right? So.
Well, first things first, we'll start with a little bit of information gathering, right? Because you want to, what's on the boat? What's the situation? So we can take alertness to kind of get an eye of the deck activity.
Oh. 46 under 65.
Cool. So the situation on the deck, you know what? I think this might be much. How much time did Emma spend with Marquis Mark?
A decent amount. We were friends. He spoke the same languages that I spoke. So yeah, I would say that we had, if nothing else, a very enjoyable weekend.
Okay, so you were on the boat long enough to kind of actually get a sense of sea life, right? Not like expertise. You're not a certified able seaman, but like you get the routine of it. And by watching, then you can get some sense of how the Adonia is operating. For one, based on the activity on the deck, most of the crew is probably on shore leave. There are only a couple people up at the top, or on the top deck. One of them is kind of patrolling around the edge of it. The other is smoking cigarettes on the gangway. So if you want to walk onto the boat, you're going to deal with him. If you want to sneak onto the boat, it's going to involve some water and some climbing, but the other person is walking around. Most ships, don't do this. It's like it's particularly like a military vessel thing. But if like the captain is on the ship, it will have a flag, kind of like how if the queen is home, the king now. The king has a special "I'm home" flag that flies over the castle where the king is, right? Same way on ships. So you would be able to see that the captain is on board. Which could be good news or bad news, depending on how you want to go it. Remembering the cars that were in the parking lot around, there might be like 2 or 3 or 4 people on board total, but most of the crew is not. So I don't know what kind of perspective that gives you on your desires.
Oh, I don't like it.
Are you getting a little cold feet over there, Kettle?
No. I'm sure from everything you said that I could heist anything that was on this boat.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I didn't have to go near the edge. And maybe not from the captain's quarters. No, but anything else, totally I could do. And also, if you wanted, I could probably get into the captain's quarters while the captain was there, just in bed, and they wouldn't even notice. So, just point me at him, really, whatever you like. I'll just backflip over there. Be fine.
We can up the ante with a question, right? If Octopus has Pierre, and they flew him here, and Pierre's the one who knows where the U-boat is, where do you suspect Pierre is?
I don't know enough about boats for that.
I was gonna ask, so we
Down in the depths.
Yeah, slightly above table question. I know you sent us the blueprint of the boat. Is this a thing that
Absolutely
we
not.
have?
No.
Okay,
Mhm.
I didn't think so. All right.
It's labeled.
No.
Very tiny
The
letters.
top part, the top one, I wanted you to sense at the size of it because you can see the helicopter and like human for scale, but you do not have the information on the inside. And I don't mean like where on this boat is Pierre. I mean Pierre's probably on the boat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Of course.
Maybe.
We just
Yeah.
we don't need to find the paperwork. We don't need to find out what they know. We just need to find Pierre.
Mhm.
Well,
It's great
if
fun.
honestly, there doesn't seem to be that many people on board, and I think that a quick look around, we might be able to locate Pierre. And I think he's probably our best bet. In
Find a room that locks from the outside.
Yeah.
We just go around and find a locked door.
Or one that just locks from the outside, not the inside.
But how would you know? Well, most locks sort of go through the door and could lock them on both sides. Unless the key is literally in the lock on the outside, you wouldn't really know. You just
Or they're
open them
all, or they're all bathroom doors, right? Where there's a lock on the one side, but a little door on the
That's
other side, right?
Yeah, like we have exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
Occupied, not unoccupied.
do you know what? Let's try
I
it.
don't know if a person could be in them, but I know on like naval ships or whatever, there are these incredibly heavy doors that you have to like release from the outside. But whether there would be somebody on the other side of it I don't know.
Well, without getting bogged into the weeds of naval engineering and architecture, if the plan is to get on the boat and search for Pierre and rescue him, then we kind of know where to start. That there is one patrolling guard on top of the ship and then one at the gangway.
Well, do we want to deal with the guard on the gangway? Do we want to sneak up the side?
Up the side.
Okay. Up the
Wait,
side,
no.
then.
What? No, I didn't know. I'm sorry. That was supposed to sound incredulous, not
Oh.
approving. That was my incredulous voice, darling.
I'm so sorry. They all kind of sound the same once in a while.
Let me try again. Up side.
There we go. Yes. Do you not? Okay. Well then, how would you like to deal with the guard on the gangway if you don't want to go up the side?
Well, maybe someone could just sort of Sonya could push him off the edge. Just a little push.
That sounds like he would then yell, and then we would have a bigger problem on our hands.
Maybe he'd be in the water, so splish. Splish.
Yes,
So
most
suggesting
crew
drown
on
him?
ships can swim. I would believe.
I remember that you were in a 1960 comic book movie. if you can sneak up on him and then give him the old ha-ta in the back of the head, like there's no
I
screaming.
mean, that
'cause
was
it's a
that was my plan. Yeah, it's just
All right.
wait for a time where he's walking up, just take whatever and just bonk on the back of the head, and
Okay,
then just
little bonk.
he's gonna take a nap.
Yeah, okay, great. Yes, thanks, Sonya. If you could just sort of take care of that, that would be great. Thank you, darling.
Well, we need two things then to make the situation come to fruition. We need a distraction or a sneak to get the drop on this person, and then we need a melee to actually land the blow. We just need a combination. So
Can we not say that they're somewhat distracted by the situation that had occurred in terms of the
Well,
the
we did
exploding Jenny?
we did smaller story points on that end, and it's actually not their generators. They don't give a shit, right? Like, remember, this is Forces of Octopus. They are guarding this boat. So if you want to, like, kind of like one set of story points per obstacle kind of thing.
Could I try a cheeky security in order to get the timing right when he's sort of facing away, and then get Sonya to move here, so she's close, and then turns away suddenly out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, he's not pathing, but security to have some kind of information, like to do, like they do call and response, right? To lure him somehow, or to know when there's going to be a change or something. That's fine.
I'll try rolling it. See what happens. Wait, is that the good one or the bad one? Got a 00 and a 1.
That is a 1.
That is a 1. That's the good one. Yes, great. I got a
Okay.
1.
So Katarina gives you information. The fruit of the knowledge vine ripened over decades of watching guards path around while perched in the rafters of buildings. And then it comes time for Sonya to do what?
Grab like one of Frederick's wrenches and sort of just move up behind it.
Oh,
It's very, very reluctantly given over.
Not to say, I need to. If this were it's for Cthulhu, we'd have Frederick roll composure, taking the damage. This is the psychic damage of having to give up the good wrench. Very well, then.
Oh
yeah,
no, it's not the good one. Jesus.
right. Wait, hold on, Frederick. They're all good wrenches. You don't own bad wrenches.
I know.
Well, let's see if Frederick's good wrench does the good work. Sonya, what was your melee roll?
6. 006.
So there you go. Katarina and Emma like squatting down, waiting with bated breath. You've done everything that is, and Frederick is like doesn't even care at all about the guy. It's just like, I hope the wrench makes it. And then Sonya gets right into position. Smack! The guy goes falling off. That's one guard down. There's another one who's pathing. He hasn't heard you yet because no one has made any mistakes. Are we gonna get? Is everyone going up on the boat?
Go, go, go!
Very carefully on the gangplank.
Mhm.
Try the same trick again. Try the wait for it. Boom.
Okay. If it works once, it works twice. Try it again.
Right. Right. This time, surely.
You just need my melee roll?
Whoever's doing it.
I'm good.
Cogs.
I got 61 under 75 for security for the timings.
And I got a 14 for melee.
Okay, so 2 bodies. What are you doing with them?
Is there like a tarp or something that's like covering something on the deck?
Probably.
Yeah, we can just put them right under there.
Why not?
They're all snuggled up together, taking a nap.
Mm-hmm. And then it is a question of searching the vessel. It will take us literally years if we roleplay going room by room by room. So let's not do that. We all agreed.
Or I feel like we're in a time limit, so we've got to like also just literally limit the
Mhm.
amount of space we can search.
That being the case, then let's kind of click zoom back a couple levels, and then talk about how would you think to find Pierre. Let's break the boat into like 3 sections, right? There's like the deck and the stuff that's immediately like above and below the first deck. There's deep boat, and then there's like bridge, captain's quarters boat. So who would search where? What are you going to what's like the overall gist of the search? Are you being like loud and quick about it? Are you being sneaky about it? What's the vibe there? Who's going where?
We like split up and use completely different tactics in different places.
Yeah, if you want.
We each just like take a section of the ship and just
I think Sonya would head down to like the bottom of the ship, like where Like possibly the idea of, well, maybe, he's like tied to a pillar in the cargo hold or whatever.
Katarina's going to go for the nice cabins, but not the nicest cabins. She's going to go through and like assess from the outside cabin quality, because Octopus, if I was an evil villain, I wouldn't want to put someone in a really horrible cabin, because like that would be cruel and like gentlemanly. So I'd pick a sort of mediocre cabin and lock them in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm going. I'm just trying doors until I find ones that are locked.
I don't assume that Pierre would be up top either. But if Katarina is checking cabins, then I can check like the bridge and like the operational areas. See if maybe they, instead of having to hold him somewhere else, they've just decided to keep him close to those
maps
things
there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Look out for maps.
Probably be checking out the mechanical engine.
Are you gonna look at the engine? That's funny.
If they've kept him in the engine, that's fucked up. But you know what? Frederick's gonna find him.
Yeah.
Look, maybe you just take a couple of really important pieces out of the engine while you're there.
All right, then I need dice to fly. Tell me the skill that you're rolling and roll it.
Okay.
Search.
Something like, search is going to be leaning more towards finding it, but not really being sneaky, right? So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sneaky. I've got a 15 in stealth. I've got heavy footfalls.
when you're imagining the role that you're about to announce, just consider like the aspect that it calls to mind when things go wrong. So if you roll sneak but fail, then like that's different than if I rolled search and failed.
I mean, to be honest, I have an equal chance at failing both sneak and search. So
you can also not, right? And you can be like,
yeah,
fuck no, I'm not cut out for this. I'm gonna stay on the fucking gangway.
yeah.
That just limits the ability total to find.
Yeah.
I rolled a 90, but I want to spend those points to flip it so I don't just fork myself at the bottom of the boat.
I think it's sneak, but I'm not sure. Because basically, as I said, what I'm doing is I've picked a set of rooms and I'm going through and opening each door one at a time to see if it opens. And if it opens, I'm probably just closing it again quickly. But I rolled a 94 and I'm not going to spend any more of my story points to fix that. So
Totally fine.
Yeah.
Frederick, you also have the same afternoon as Emma. If you're like, I don't like any of this, then you can just wait and then be eating a sandwich while other things happen.
So I guess mine is kind of like a bluff. Like, I'm dressed in engineer's clothing. I'm going in the mechanical and engineering areas.
Disguise.
I'm
there you
trying
go.
to but I don't have anything. It's more of a like, I need to look like I know what I'm doing, and I do know what I'm doing.
I think that is actually quite good, having an engineering disguise, but also being able to back it up with the engineering talk.
Yeah.
So I imagine you don't have the disguise skill, so we can go with engineering.
Do not have substitution. That's an 87.
Okay. So we'll say that these things wrap themselves together accordingly. You all find something, which is going to make life really interesting for Emma, because we're going to end up a little bit Scooby-Doo. Because Sonya's the one who passed, so we decide that Sonya is the one who finds where Pierre is. They have one of the crew staterooms, and like you're kind of walking down, and you're like, wait. Like those doors, some of them are open, some of them whatever. That one is secured and like has like a door like positioned. So opening it up, indeed, there is Pierre. But comic book style, I want it to be the case that all three of you are opening a door at the same time, right? So we see like one panel divided into three, and we're looking like over Frederick's shoulder, over Sonya's shoulder, over Katarina's shoulder. You lean forward and you twist, and then all of you open up at the same time. And then Sonya, center panel, has Pierre going like, oh, Sonya. And Frederick's panel has a hot dog goon being like, Katarina opens the door and has a tall, blonde-haired German man with a monocle and a captain's hat. Spinning open. So, Sonya, next panel is these characters. Dialogue bubble up here. Thank God you found me. Frederick, dialogue panel. Who the fuck are you? Katarina's panel. The white ribbon.
I'm so
It is so nice to see you.
Always nice to meet a fan.
Now we're in trouble. So we can do one of two things here. We can fight or we can run. And based on how this has been a giant mess of chronology, if you would like it to be the case where like Marquis Mark is on the boat and like ready to fire up those engines and get out, we can do that. But I do need to know how people are going to get themselves out of here.
Frederick is running. Like, very much running.
Yeah, I'm very keen for there to be, you know, like a puff of smoke and some like skid marks.
Endurance, because I'm gonna sprint for it.
I'll take endurance. I'll take agility. If you have another skill where you want to create some kind of distraction or what's the word I'm looking for? Obstacle for your pursuer, just something so we know what's going on.
Can I'm running, but like, because I'm really bad at agility, I'm actually just gonna spot something as I walk by and knock it and make some steam.
Yeah.
Do machinery.
Yeah.
That is an excellent use of skills.
I got a 52 out of 65.
Katarina?
18 under 75.
All right, so you do get the puff of smoke. The whole open it up. He's and then by the time he finishes his villain monologue, it cuts back to the other shoulder, but Katarina's not there anymore. It's just like the outline of a Katarina cloud of smoke. Sonya, you've got Pierre hot on your heels. He is not interested in wasting any time. So you are coming up the stairs at the same time that Katarina is coming down the stairs onto the deck. And that's what you see. Frederick, you are being chased, and there's the bonk from somewhere inside, and the steam cloud comes out.
98.
Okay, so I'm not going to have you be captured because it's going to make it really, really awkward for the rest of the game. But that just means that you're going to hit the steam valve, and it steams probably sooner than you would have liked it to steam.
Yeah.
So I think it's 3d6 is the damage for improvised or otherwise stuff. Oh, shit. Well, I don't have good dice either, so I did not roll a single point of damage. There's
a little bit hotter than Frederick would have liked, but
yeah. So clothing ruined, hair very uncomfortable, but nothing that arrives. I mean, like you're still a little burned, but nothing that rises to the level of actually peeling skin off. With 4 of you, now the 5 of you come pedaling down the gangway. Katarina backflipping or not?
Katarina is backflipping everywhere except that particular gangway. Where she's walking very slowly and carefully, straight down the middle, away from the side.
So I like this. So Sonya tearing down first. Frederick is coming and has Pierre. Emma is like a third baseman being like, go, go, go. Frederick comes up and then sees Katarina backflip, and then like very slowly dainty steps down the gangway. Makes
Easy,
the bottom.
there we go.
And then backflips again. With Frederick hot on the heels. Mark has heard the commotion. He's looking around. Emma, you're screaming to your old friend to get things going. He's those big diesely burbly engines, so you can feel the water's churning and all that. You slide on board, and you don't floor it in a ship. You like forward it with the throttle. And it's a big boat though, so it does not like lurch into action. It's very much like, oh, we're going 1 kilometer an hour. Holy shit, 1.2.
You're going to backflip onto the boat. You see, this is what happens.
good news is that as slow as it is for him to get off of the off the pier, it'll be even worse for the Adonia. However, at this point, the goons that you did not knock out are being roused, running up to the deck. We're just going to see if any of the random gunfire coming in from the deck of the Adonia hits any of you or the boat.
Oh, I need us and the boat.
Emma, high or low?
Low.
Okay. Frederick, high or low?
High.
Okay. High or low for Emma was to determine whether it was person or ship. You got ship. Frederick, I was looking for like engine or electronics. And we ended up at electronics. So all the stuff coming in, you're all ducking down. Sonya throws Pierre to the ground and the bullets rattle in. You will make it out of range in time to look up and see that the radio console has been shot through and destroyed.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
okay,
no.
because one of the devices I have is radio. That is my gear.
So then we'll see how that plays out when we come back from our break, because we all need to give these folks a chance to get their heart rates to come back down. We need to push the reset button on the chronology and have all the panels pop back into the right place. Like the writer's room is like, yeah, this is great. Yeah, but what about that? And then the artist gets it and is like, who the fucking, oh God, having to put them all in order. And we are going to give the ship some time to make its way out to sea, because who wants to be here for 15 minutes of just burbling and watching the horizon get further and further away? We will come back in about 10 minutes. We will then, I assume, be ready to investigate a mystery in a U-boat. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, friends, to the South Pacific. We are, in the words of Lonely Island, on a boat. Mark hauling us off in a research vessel, a fishing trawler, whatever the story points have said, into the Straits of Sitomayang, where we are on a hunt for what? Treasure.
Lost you
So treasure.
Coelacanths was the answer I was looking for. But those are all acceptable as well. I hope you are hydrated, because we're going to be out on the ocean. Do not drink seawater if you are thirsty. It will not end well for you. The travel time is actually quite significant in terms of a few hours to get out into the water. This is not a speedboat. It's nothing super fancy, so you're not churning across the waves at Sonya Volkov speeds. You are just humble bumble, rumbling along. There's a nice little alliterative onomatopoeia. I was really happy. That made me feel good inside. Which gives you enough time to collect your bearings and de-stress from the events that are on the docks. Now, we've established that Mark is the pilot of the boat. We've established that the boat is much better equipped and in better repair than it was in the beginning. But that does not make it a state-of-the-art vessel. So we'll say that a few hours have passed. As far as you can tell, there's no octopus on the horizon, either the animal or the agents of the evil conspiracy. I would like to know that as we start to wind the engines down and coast our way towards where Johann Fresner told Pierre Martin the U-boat might be, how are things going with folks on the ship? Also, I don't think we mentioned this before, did we name the boat?
So obviously, Mark, being the man of class that he is, I think he has named his boat the Classy Scamp.
Oh,
I like that.
That's such
It
a
used to
cute
be-
name.
When he bought the boat, it was the Classy Scampy, but he's like
Aw,
they took off the
so
I at the
cute.
end, and now it's the Classy Scamp.
Nice.
It was a joke where it was classy with an I, scampy with an I. They took the
Yes.
second I off, but now it's classy scam, but it still has the I.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So Emma, you started. Let's continue with you. What are you doing?
Oh gosh, what am I doing? I was just excited about the boat name. I'd probably be catching up with Mark, and then writing down information, kind of like interviewing him, because obviously, if we find this U-boat, it's going to be a huge big deal. And Mark, as the captain of the vessel that led us to the boat, surely he wants to be written about. I'd be interviewing him about his thoughts, about his involvement in the mission, what he thinks we're going to find, speculations, things like that.
As I recall, did you tell him much about what you were doing before we started? We were flashbacking and a flashback and a flashback at the time, but I don't remember the details being, hey, can we borrow your boat to go thwart the forces of Octopus?
No. But I think he would have figured that out as they were, yelling at us as we were trying to get on the boat. So he kind of, once we were a safe distance away, he definitely pulled me aside and said, Emma, you wanna talk about what's going on? Like, what are you getting me into? And then of course I had to divulge over the last couple hours what we've uncovered and where we're headed.
I like the idea that he uses the opportunity to do a reverse interview where you get out your little micro recorder or your notebook and you're like, so Mark, it's been a really eventful day. And he's like, yeah, it really fucking has. And then gets out, like, just does his thing like, Emma, live on the street interview. What the fuck is going on? Handing you the...
Yeah. We have a really playful relationship that way. So yeah, absolutely.
And what about Frederick, Katarina, Sonya? Playful, the mood we'll use to describe what's going on with you all?
I think Frederick is both excited and quite stressed. Happy to have avoided the situation that they encountered on the other ship, but is possibly very... If anyone is talking to Pierre, or will be listening very closely and possibly chiming in with some questions. But
there's plenty of time to talk to Pierre about what has happened. Unfortunately, most of his time has been while you were jet setting the world, looking for paintings and professors and enjoying hot chocolate. Pierre was transiting the air with a bag on his head and then staying in a prison cell. And yes, he's been interrogated. No, it wasn't that bad. He's recovered quite well from the tickling. Thanks for asking. But on the whole, has lacked a bit of information. He's grateful, of course, in a very masculine, I would have gotten my way out of it eventually. But this is a really interesting story that we're telling kind of way. I mean, Pierre. But in terms of new information, not a whole lot going on in Pierre's brain, except for being really happy. Frederick, I assume you still have your picnic.
I do.
Yeah.
I replenished it on the last plane journey.
So have you ever been in a social situation where, like, you have a pack of crisps or some kind of candy and your friend is having a conversation with you, but their eyes are continually referring to the thing that you're eating? And they're like, I'm not going to ask because that'd be rude, but like if I intuit long enough,
yes. And in fact, let's set it up. We've got a couple hours yet till we hit the coordinates you provided. So so we'll lay out the picnic map, set up this tea and like fancy sandwiches and so on.
You have never in your life seen anyone be as grateful for anything as Pierre is for a properly good picnic sandwich. Like, this is a man who's used to the finer things in life, and now, like, the situation has arisen where this sandwich is one of the finer. Not under normal circumstances would a picnic sandwich be the kind of thing you get excited for, but consider.
Excuse me, my sandwiches are fantastic.
You know what? You are right. I did not mean to negate your contribution to the story.
How many story points are you spending on making those sandwiches fantastic?
I'm not spending any story points.
Fine, we didn't need them.
But they were off the fancy plane that has a machine that gives
That's
you
true.
marshmallows now.
Mhm.
So
That was great. That was great. And like the contrast between Pierre's actual gratefulness and, like, the rest of us is just sort of interested yet entitlement, We do deserve marshmallows. Yes, this is the way we should be treated.
I mean, the picnic's great, but there's not a hot cocoa machine inside of it. So I mean, like, is it that great? Well, Katarina, Sonya, how are the high seas treating you?
Probably all right. I imagine I've been on boats before because, cargo planes aren't really a thing that aren't they exist?
No,
Kind
it's pretty
of,
expensive.
You have to like take your car around the world for competitions.
But we do know that
Cool.
Sonya is not one of the top tier racing drivers. They're fairly new on
No.
the circuit. So the French person who we slandered but did not name at the beginning of the scenario, he probably has a cargo plane.
Yeah.
Sonya has to take boats and whatnot.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time on boats, so it's probably going to be a bit of, I don't know, does anybody need a hand doing anything on the boat? Does Frederick need a hand setting up any of the diving equipment? Let me do something physical.
Well, let's hold off on the preparing for the dive, because that's going to be a whole other thing. That leaves one person.
So Katarina has a lot of energy. She's been walking around a lot and talking a lot to anyone who will listen. She's very sort of conspicuously staying away from the edges, and just sort of pronouncing to various people, like inspecting the suits. And we did we nab the diving bell? Did we only nab the suits? Oh, we didn't take it.
Yeah,
then,
no,
'cause that
we
was the really
we
heavy
nabbed
one.
them. We nabbed
So she's like
everything.
inspecting it and being like, yeah, so obviously I could probably just go and heist the treasure by myself. I have amazing high skills, so really no need to worry. I'll just pop down there under the sea, the sea. It's a lot of sea, isn't it? But I'll just, nobody needs to worry. I've got this all totally sorted.
Narrator, she did not have that sorted. Oh no, Katarina not handling the waves all that well. I think you can hear the nervous energy in her voice pitch up every time the boat rolls.
It rolls.
So, yeah, we're getting a lot of that left to right, front and back, all kinds of new
How many
axes of motion.
story points would I need to?
The sea is a fickle mistress that does not respond well to the metaphors of this game. For more on how unruly the sea is, that's a Simon question. Actually, that would be the climate change and the currents. That's a Simon question.
Simon Clark, if anyone wants to know about the sea and why it's quite warm now.
And so wobbly. Wobbly, definitely not the word that I wanted, but
That's
the one
climate
that I
change.
landed on.
Making the sea wobblier. Outrageous.
But in good time, you will arrive near enough your locations. You'll remember that we have a general idea of where the battle happened, and the local fishermen talked about nets that they've lost. Keep your boat away from these reefs, things like that. And you can kind of zoom in on a little bit of an area. I'm going to. This game is not really kitted out well for a really deep dive. I fucking did to myself. A deep dive into the negotiate, like how do you find a boat? Roll sonar. So understand that it is a process, but it is not a process that we're going to spend a ton of time getting into the weeds on.
Montage.
A montage, the result of which is an ever-increasing amount of tension for Katarina for obvious reasons. But Frederick, the equipment is sophisticated. It is uncomfortable to work with. It is unwieldy. You don't have a full crew. You kind of have a Sonya to help you, a Katarina who is clinging to the center of the boat, and an Emma who is talented in a great many ways, but turning wrench is probably not one of them. Still, eventually you will be crawling along, marking the twain, fathoming the depths, whatever nautical words you'd like to use, and then you'll get that tug on a rope somewhere or the ping on an electronic sensor of some kind that lets you know you have found something metallic in the water. All of this happening, of course, while one of you, or occasionally all of you at different moments, scan the horizon, wondering if there is someone else on their way.
Yes.
Now, the operative word of U-boat is U, standing for Untersee. So who's going to be the one suiting up? Whatever's down there, you got to go get it. It's not coming to you.
So Katarina's been loudly claiming that she will go down there by herself, heist the huge amount of gold that she assumes is what we're here for. Gold was mentioned. And I think around the point where we arrive at the location, she just like disappears. She's just sort of not there anymore.
Frederick will obviously be going down because, yes, he is there for the gold.
Take the gold and take the gold out of Octopus's hands.
Gold.
What?
Yeah.
You're hoping something other than gold, Frederick? What?
Gold?
What's happening? I don't understand.
I like this because Frederick is being really coy. Like, oh yeah, I'm definitely here with gold.
The
That
gold.
ridiculous thing is down there.
Yeah. Not interested in anything else at all.
Think of how many race cars I could buy with gold.
Gold is also very heavy. Oh no.
Oh, actually, that was a good point. One thing that I would have tried to do once I'd finished talking to Pierre, or at least attempted to, is try and see if there's any way of jury-rigging a pulley system to arrange something on the side of the boat or somewhere. Or maybe fashion something out of what was already on the boat that we've got.
Yeah, as Emma was describing Marquis Mark, it seems like the kind of boat that would have a crane or something like, right? At least a boom arm that you could put a pulley on. That seems totally reasonable to me.
That's presumably the diving bell would need that if you wanted to take that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how they work, but I presume big rope.
I have to rig up the top of it, attach various tubes and hoses to take air in and out.
Full on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in undersea things, but whatever. I've seen 60s movies, right? We don't have to be accurate. We have to be cool. So yeah, what is the
Loads of
coolest
pipes.
way?
Pipes everywhere.
Yeah, pipes everywhere. It's like a fucking
The
steampunk
old dials.
convention.
Yeah, super steampunk. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's steam coming out of the diving bell for some reason. Don't worry.
It's supposed to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then as Fred's getting ready and Kat is nowhere to be found, I am going to try and find her because, she's been so loud. Like, I was with Mark, like, far away from all of this stuff, and I could hear her the entire trip. So, like, where is she?
I think this is the perfect opportunity to pit your search against Katarina's.
Oh no!
My search is awful, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to find her.
I would like to.
Yeah, I think alertness or search would probably be okay.
Okay. Alertness, I can do alertness.
And then sneak or subterfuge out of Katarina. Both of those things seem like they might work.
I'll take subterfuge because it's lower and I want it to find me. But I will also. Does this have to be? Can I take -2 pips for? It's not quite it. But this is my phobia complication, which is not right here, right now, but it is what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I assume that you do want to be found, but I also just want to see how quickly it happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. But I feel like she's under a bed somewhere. Oh, yeah, I failed that. I doubly failed it. I rolled an 82, which is both above and a 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. I rolled a 28. Under 65, so it was.
So it's not going to take terribly long. Katarina, where is it that Emma discovers you and why?
You actually disappear. It's quite good.
That was good. Yeah.
I'm under a bed. Any bed that I could get under.
Kat, I'm gonna pull at the blanket that she's got covering her face. Are you okay?
Hi, yeah. It's fine, darling. Just doing some wellness exercises. Breathing, you know. You gotta remember to breathe. Can't do that underwater. Can't do that in the sea. But right now, lots of breathing. Yeah, breathing is good. I really like breathing, Emma. Like it's just something I've always found has come really naturally, and I'm good at it. I'm good at a lot of things. I'm so good at so many things. Are you gonna write that in your article? Write it in your article, Emma, that I'm good at a lot of things.
Yeah, I will. I'm guessing it's she's not doing a super, I mean, she's doing it as well as a job as she's presenting right now at hiding the fact that she's incredibly worried and upset about
seem fine
something.
to you? What's not fine about this?
No.
I don't get the impression that she's trying to hide it at all.
Yeah. You know, I think, you know, because we're limited on space and stuff, that it's gonna be better for the story if I go down. Not because I don't think that you can do it, of course, but because, you know, then I have like firsthand. And instead of you having to try and remember all the details.
Right. I would be able to like describe what it's like at like the bottom of the sea with like the darkness and the crushing weight and the being able to breathe. I couldn't probably do as good a job of like, how would you describe that? You'd use like metaphors and things, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would do it in a lot less terrifying way, I think. Just the words generally would be more positive than that. So how about what,
by yourself?
No, I thought I saw Frederick hanging around, so I think me and Fred can handle this, and then you can you know, lend your skills to making sure that everything is good up on the deck.
Wow, Emma, I just think you have such expertise in journalism and writing. Like that's your thing, right? You're so good at it. You're so good at it, Ems. And I just trust you completely. And I just think, God, you're so clever. And you just like know how to get things done. And yeah, you'll put in your story that it was very important that I had to stay here and do other important heisty things, right?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Your presence is absolutely needed on top to make sure that everything runs smoothly for the rest of us. So, yeah.
She sort of crawls out from under the bed and like throws herself on Emma, who I assume was on the floor to kind of look under the bed. Sort of like half under the bed, just like hugging you. Just be like, I love you, Emma. I love you so much.
Yeah. I love you too. I love you too. Okay.
You're so great. You're so great.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Emma was surrounded by sea.
I know.
Journalism and metaphors, two skills traditionally associated with underwater diving. It's a very excellent compliment. Just dropped in the middle of that.
We'll see.
These tactics are so sensible. Emma, you're the best. Will you be okay? Ems, what if something happens? Will you be okay? Like, do you know how to breathe under the sea?
You know, I have watched a ton of Aquaman cartoons, so I'm sure I've picked something up.
If anything goes wrong, I'm coming down to find you, okay? Send me a signal, like, I don't know, tug on a rope, like a certain number of times, and I'll be there, okay?
Okay, deal. Promise.
So it sounds to me like the arrangement will be that Sonya and Katarina stay on the ship with Marquis, Mark, and Pierre, while Frederick and Emma descend into the depths. Yes?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a great idea, but I don't want Kat to feel bad, so here we are.
There are compelling reasons for many combinations, right? have to ask yourself, where am I going to need the mechanics more? Is Sonya diving, is it endurance feat? It's a strength feat? It's an agility feat? Who is the best for that kind of thing? Presumably the forces of Octopus are hot on your heels because, like, genre.
We didn't do anything to their boat, did we? We just stole their stuff and left.
No, time was a bit of the essence.
Yeah. I'd attempted to sabotage it, but rolled really badly on that one.
Happened. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So whoever's on the surface has that to worry about. As you decide who is going to go. This is if you've played computer role-playing games, and there's always that moment where, like, or Mass Effect 2, right? Who's going to get in the giant tube? Who's going to hold up the biotic barrier? And who is going to, I forget the third thing. Oh, lead the other team back to the Normandy, right? So thinking about your skill set, just to give them last chance, make the best decisions you think are the best decisions.
My skill set is not the best for diving, but it's my job.
Yeah, I think we need to split the folks that have a little bit of, like, mechanical knowledge, like someone down below and then someone up top, and I don't have either of those, so that can't be me. So and then
I have a little bit of machinery, so, like,
yeah. So I think Sonya being up top, if there's immediate issues down below, Frederick can handle it. I don't know. I'm a body. If a shark comes, I'll just jump in the way and me and Fred will be fine.
Okay.
Look it. I do like two things well, and apparently one of them is being shark bait. So it'll be fine. This will be fine. We'll be fine.
Where is that skill on your sheet? Because I'm super familiar with these.
Tastiness.
It's I'll find it later. I'll show you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we will have another montagey moment as everyone not everyone, as two of you pile into your suits. There is the breathing regulator, the mask that goes over. You have the big, cool 1960s style goggles. It would not be a 1960s underwater movie if you didn't have, like, a harpoon gun, right, or some kind of thing. Plus the big old tank on the back of you, full of precious air. To begin to understand how well this works, let's start with a machinery rather, to get the dive bit set up. And I will say it's a matter of time at this point. It is all a matter of time. So if you want to hold out and do both of them, that's fine. It's just going to require more time. But Sonya did mention that she also has machinery. So you could help, and each of you make a roll trying to pile people into the suits as fast as possible.
I'm not helping anyone. I'm freaking hiding somewhere, occasionally peeking out at the horrors before me.
Yeah, I think if Sonya was to help and some assistance.
Like
With machinery check.
machinery? Yeah.
Oh, did poop. I got a 75.
I got a 35,
Which is under a 65.
which is 10 under my 45.
Okay, so both
Over
of you
a
passed.
65. No. Sorry, mine is over a 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whose suit were you working on, Frederick? Was it your own or was it Emma's?
I think it was probably my own.
Okay. Keep that in mind. It's going to have some negative consequences as you go through in the future. I do like Katarina said she was fighting, so I think the panel for this particular scene is Emma, Frederick, and Sonya on the deck, all like suiting up and stuff, and then you just see like the headband and the eyes peering up from one of the portholes, watching from the background.
Wincing and shuddering.
Mm-hmm. A bit like a Where's Waldo or Where's Wally, depending on which part of the Commonwealth
in the background.
you live in. And then the diving bell. Oh boy, it's a big, fun, cool thing. I love diving bells. I wish they were still in vogue. So you hear the machinery just chunking, crunching, big industrial noises as it swings out, wobbling pendulously over the sea. And then the chain starts to crank and crunch as it sinks into the water, and you get that really satisfying like swoosh as the bottom hits. and then it tilts a little bit, and you see the bubbles coming up as it starts to settle in, and then the whir of the the air pumps coming to life, that high-pitched air compressor noise starting to fill, and then the moment is upon you. Katarina peering nervously through the portholes as Emma Beck and Frederick and Dejardin. You have to do the cool like infiltration, fall backwards off the boat under the bell thing, right? That is the rule.
I think so. Yeah, pretty sure.
So then, with a sploosh and a sploosh, under you go, and Sonya, with your machinery skills, being the one who operates the bell. Descending downwards into the aquamarine depths, the U-boat has in fact sunk near a coral reef.
Yay!
Which means there's beautiful shades of red and orange and blues and yellows just clinging to the rocks, and little anemones doing that little anemone thing where they do like this.
Are there coelacanths?
So yes, hold that.
We roll for
because
fish.
There are a shitload of coelacanths.
Really?
That's somewhat terrifying.
What are they
I can
doing?
imagine.
What's going on with them?
Well, we established before that sometimes scientists discover things that people eat, and in this case, the number of them is why it is so that they are plentiful. It is a buffet. The island of Sitomayong is doing quite well on the coelacanth economy. But one thing we did not appreciate, we didn't tell the folks, we didn't manage to communicate before, is that these things are pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like capybaras are actually quite bigger than you think they are. So, like, a coelacanth is not like a this fish. It's like your granddad fish. They are almost like, would you say like the size of like an adolescent? They're quite large.
I want to know whether they're bigger than a capybara. I would have thought so.
And that's a question that if Google is,
I'm Googling it right now. Okay.
or depending on brand preferences, Siri, a coelacanth's bigger than a capybara. Buying tickets for...
Yes, they are. Longer anyway. Longer than a capybara. So how big we're talking.
So does it give you an actual length for the median coelacanth?
Around 4 foot for a capybara. Maximum 6.5 feet for a coelacanth. They would probably vary more as they continue growing.
Bigger than me.
And how much do they weigh? How many kilos of coelacanth
Weighing,
do you get?
I don't know what this means because it's not in metric, but 198 pounds?
90
That's like 90
kilos.
kilos, yeah.
Yeah.
So
About weighs about as much as me.
Yeah.
Mhm. And they have roughly the dimensions of a sausage roll in terms of like length to thickness. If you imagine an aquatic sausage roll that is 6.5 feet long and weighs 90 kilos, but it's not that nice crisp pastry color of light brown. It's actually that dark like seaweed roll, dark brown color. And there are so many of them.
God.
To the point where I want you to imagine like that Little Mermaid scene, right? And you're expecting all the little cool fish to be around. It's not just a shitload of coelacanths. It's actually kind of terrifying, especially when you realize that coelacanths have those old fossil jaws. They have, if you're in chat right now, go Google coelacanth. We will not tell you how to spell it because that would reveal some embarrassing things about my lack of knowledge. But they have little, just like fang teeth all around, clamping on to the reef fish they hunt on. So yeah, your little reef vacation not going super well so far. Made worse as the bell descends and you get a better view of the U-boat by the situation that it is in. The U-boat has crashed into the reef. So a large part of it is actually down into the coral, and that part where they said there were nets and things is not wrong. So you have a situation where there's rope and fishing line and nets just snared all over this place, forming it looks like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Do you remember the room that had all the nets in it? There you go. That kind of situation. I do not know an appropriate... if there's a very net-based obstacle in the Crystal Maze, maybe that will help you in the UK. But it is a tangled mess with a U-boat underneath it and most of the normal routes of ingress either blocked entirely by a reef or dangerously located within it, because the other thing they don't teach you about coral is it's sharp.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So with Team Under the Sea, we have a series of questions that need answered. What are we going to do?
Okay.
I imagine that Frederick will have like a smaller version of her what's it called? Her mechanics toolbox. I mean, she doesn't like going anywhere without it. So I imagine that she's got a smaller version
The
of that.
waterproof sandwich inside.
Mhm.
Of course. I don't know why only waterproof in sandwiches. It's probably not a good idea for that. But yes, so it's, I would likely have some kind of cutting tool in there, because it would have anticipated that if there weren't nets to cut, they would need some way of being able to pry open or kind of reduce, equalize, basically some way of getting things open.
You're an engineer. You know what you're doing.
Sometimes, not always.
Let's start here with Frederick. If you'll make a search roll, and we'll see if we get the basic indication of how things have landed, what would be the best place to access this U-boat. You did have the blueprints. I'm giving Frederick credit for studying them, so you have a general sense of the layout of the ship to work with.
I don't know why I keep doing this. Yeah, that's a 73 over 65. Keep failing these rolls.
Well, we're just getting them out of the way early. So law of averages say that you'll make it up on the back end. So it's so it seems to you the most obvious way is going to be through the conning tower. On the top, it's a little place where they pop out and they wave hello. Radio masts and stuff on top of it. The default entry into the submarine would be the default entry into the submarine. It's tricky to get the diving bell to wobble over into that direction. I don't want to be a radio because it's much more fun to me if you have one of those like sound-powered talkie tubes that you're speaking through. So you get that nice like coppery hollow sound as you're talking back and forth to one another, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Keep him the steampunk. So Frederick giving commands to Sonya, who's moving the levers and wobbling the boat over in that direction, to which then the bell sinks down, and then like just the most deafening clang as metal hits metal, and it forms like an uneven, imperfect seal on top of the conning tower. Gonna need that cutting tool though, because this U-boat was locked up tight when it sank. They did not leave the front door open.
Okay. So, do I need to roll for that again? As in just to cut it open?
Yeah. In this case, it would probably be machinery. I'd also take engineering.
I'm going to vote on engineering. Just because if I roll in the 70s again, at least that one I guess. I did not, however, roll in the 70s. I rolled a 57.
Excellent. Yes. Machinery is knowing how to cut, but engineering is knowing where to cut. And you manage, it's got to be an underwater welding torch, right? That's the coolest thing, right?
Yeah.
So, Emma, you have your swimming goggles, and then you pull down the visor. That's the thing. And then Frederick is floating, like legs in the air, kind of swimming downward to do that. You get the little bubbles coming off of it. The big red light scaring off the coelacanths who go scattering and then kind of curiously start to come back as they're swirling around. That's what's going to be happening on the ocean floor. However, we have not forgotten nor run out of use for the people up on top of the surface, because Sonya, you are heads down in that machine. This is very much the kind of situation where if you look away, you don't know. You gotta be watching the thing, talking to Frederick. If something goes wrong up here, they don't have that long airwise, so you're kind of pinned, which means Katarina, I'll need you to make an alertness roll for me.
I'm gonna make an alertness roll. Oh, is that? Should I? Should I? I'm pondering whether to just keep. She's very nervous about they might die. They went under the sea. It's not great. I'm just wondering whether I should just take -2 pips for this scene and gain 3 story points.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's your budget, your choices, but I'll take that away.
Okay, alertness. Massive fail anyway, 89.
Okay. So Katarina, very, very distracted. The boat is loud. It's making machine noises. It's rolling in every direction. This is not an ideal environment. You are like, you know what's not noisy and shitty and smells of oil and might drown you if it breaks? An art museum, right? Or a bank vault. Or
How much I like art museums. Oh my
yeah.
God. It's so calm and peaceful and dry. It's so dry. It's so
Mhm.
dry.
And quiet, right? You would never get away with this kind of noise in an art museum.
I'll just take calming breaths and imagine I'm in an art museum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're sitting, well, not sitting because you're at work, right? You're imagining yourself, if counters imagine themselves in an art museum, they're imagining themselves stealing something from an art museum. There's no other canon that I'm willing to accept, right?
It's true.
So like aside from the sound of like the amazing soundtrack that's playing in your head and the clip clop of the guards and their very polished shoes that they walk around, there's no other sounds, right? So like you're slinking along the wall and you're dodging the laser beams, and then you get your you have your pull out of your where does you don't have pockets.
It's
in
all
here.
oh, I haven't explained this yet. She's got this big, thick, white plastic belt over her little black dress. But that white belt is reversible. When you flip it round, it's black on the inside and just has all the little pockets of all the little tools.
Okay,
Right.
so you flip open your utility belt and get your glass cutter.
Yeah.
And then like you're reaching in to grab like the Fabergé egg, and then there's that sound of the helicopter, and then the sound of people falling into the water from several feet above the surface of the water, and then the people yelling in German to the microphone. Wait a minute, that's not the art museum, that's real life. And you look up out of the porthole, and the helicopter from the back of the Adonia has followed you out. There are octopus divers tumbling out the side of it, landing in the water, and things have gone not diving bell shaped, but pear shaped.
Great.
Sonya, for your purposes, we will say that you also become aware of this at the same time.
Oh man.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh man. I'm gonna. Oh no! Is all the furniture in this ship just like bolted down because it's a ship?
Some of it.
I'm gonna try and
yeah.
I'm gonna go over to a chair and try and like move the chair and just be like ah, and then I'm gonna run outside. Someone!
I don't.
You peaked that whole sentence.
Sorry, I'm a bit overexcited.
I like this though because we can roll with it and say that the noise of the helicopter, the noise of the engine, Sonya doesn't hear anything but does see that face.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's just like, oh, that's a problem.
And then through the speaker underneath it, just a comically evil German accent. It's very like Hogan's Heroes. You know, very like, attention, troubleshooters. Please return to us, Pierre Martins, and you will not be harmed. Right?
It's a bit late for that. I heisted him, and you shall not heist him back, please. I shall shout, trying to get over the sound of the helicopter, which they're much closer to, so really they're not going to hear me, but Sonya might hear me and then tell Emma about it later.
So it's comic book though. So the German person looking at that, what did they say? And then like, I don't know, boss. I just can't hear anything on the sound of this. It does not seem like they're cooperating. Should I ask them again?
Rude gestures.
Oh no.
No, I don't think you need to ask them again, sir. No, that's
I would like to try and attack this helicopter
Oh, with what?
with
A wrench?
a wrench. I wasn't thinking of a wrench. What I want
Frederick going to be regretting leaving the rest of their.
not the wrench, not Frederick. Not the
I will
wrench.
say that would be a hell of a throw.
I would like to. This is going to be a hell of a throw anyway. I would like to unspool my dangling down Mission Impossible style in the middle of art museums rope. Maybe try and like make a little bit of a lasso so that I can get a throw going. And I mean, it's a bit extreme, but I kind of like to try and tangle up the blades. I wonder, does the chopper have the tail one that
Well, they all have to.
Yeah, because it has to counteract something, right? May I go for that one? That'd be easier.
The distances involved are going to make that kind of crazy. Yeah, I am not a throwographer by any means,
Yeah.
but
I'm not a lasso specialist. I'm an art thief. God damn it.
They are high enough and far enough away. Plus, trying to lasso into the rotor wash. I mean,
Yeah, I'll just get blown away, won't it? Yeah. God damn
maybe
it.
I don't know. It would be extremely difficult. Cool if you could pull it off, but a very kind of high risk situation.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to take the wrench. Sorry. And I'm going to throw it at one of the people in the water and try and conk them with a wrench.
Frederick, are you the kind of person who names your tools?
Oh boy.
Probably. Yes.
So, which wrench did Katarina just throw?
I think they all have very practically impractical names, so it's probably something like Sprocket, even though that's a name for a completely different tool.
Frederick finds it hilarious. Other people are like, does Frederick know that that's not a sprocket? They just don't understand Frederick's sense of humor. So Katarina, you whip back, you get a good angle, you chuck it. The next panel shows the wrench spinning through the air. There's a freeze frame of the word sprocket, like stenciled very lovingly across the handle. Will you roll? That would be not athletics. That is not a skill. We'll take agility. We'll take strength. Those are both seemingly pretty relevant. Melee.
You will take agility. 'Cause I got nothing in strength. So, I mean... still on -2. Oh, doesn't help. Anyway, that's a 93. And I'm going to let it be. Because it was more for the purposes of trying to save Emma and Fred from the evil divers, and really, there's quite a lot of them. How many are there?
4.
4. Okay, it's not that many.
2 of them armed, and this will become relevant to Emma and Frederick in a moment.
What is
2
it?
of them armed with like spear guns, and then 2 of them carrying industrial equipment of some kind, the welding gear, the cutting torches, etc. You were gonna say, Katarina?
I was going to say it would only cost, because it's agility, it would only cost me 1 story point to flip it. I guess it would be really valuable if I could take someone out, but all I'm doing is throwing a wrench into the sea.
I like the gesture, but we both like that. It's gonna hit and it's gonna like to sink, right?
Yeah.
I would hate for you to spend story points to flip the die for it to do like 1 point of vitality.
Yeah, that's
Then
kind of
you
what I was
bonk
thinking.
them, right?
Yeah. You're like, they've already dived under and there's water cushions. Yeah, I shall leave it then.
This has set up a delightful brick joke, though, that we will come back to. So, Frederick, Emma, you are in the bell. Sonya, I'm giving you credit for yelling into the copper tube that there are people coming, right?
But I thought we weren't in the bell. We were just. Oh, sorry. There's a hole in the bottom of the bell.
Yeah, the bottom of the bell
airlock.
is open. That's how you get in and
Yeah.
out. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's hovering over Frederick because you have to be in the water to do it. But I don't think Emma's just like sitting real close, like going, "How's it going over there? Yeah, it's doing really good." Just
I really love to be kind of the way that we're alerted to this is like there is some garbling, but I can't hear it because I'm not anywhere near it through the thing. But like one of my wrench sprocket just comes and like slams on, and I'm like, what sprocket? That situation.
sure, if that's the way you want to handle it. How does Sprocket get there before the divers? I don't know.
Well,
but-
it's because they're controlling their dive, and they're trying to sneak
sure.
up on us.
Mhm.
Sprocket is an inanimate object that can't do that.
Also, they're not sinking. They have to swim down because presumably they've got some sort of neutral buoyancy. I don't know how diving works, but you have to you don't sink, right? You sink.
We've set you up as an expert scientist. If you say it with conviction, people will believe you. Exactly.
Your neutral buoyancy, depending on the deck. It's fine.
So there it is. Yeah. So Emma, you hear Sonya making noises. It's weird. It's very windy on the surface all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And Frederick, you are just down in the making these perfect cuts, and then there's just this like boom sound of metal on metal, and you look over, and like Sprocket has landed perfectly, like a pinup counter, like right. So
Is that my wrench? Sprocket?
and
then I see them.
yeah, seeing around, you see the four shadows in the water just down, coming at you. Two of them, like I said, with spear guns, and the other two carrying equipment of some kind. Well, what happens next?
How close are we to getting into the U-boat?
I don't know, narratively appropriately close.
Well, so kind of what I'd like to do is give Frederick enough time to get it open, so we can get in there, and then maybe like if they have to come in the same way, right? Then maybe we can put them in get ourselves in an advantageous position, I guess is the best way that I can put this. So I am actually going to take one of the harpoon guns, and I'm going to duck out underneath the bell, and I'm going to fire the harpoon gun in the direction, ideally hitting one of them or hitting one of the tanks or hitting something. I don't expect to actually hit something, but that would be great. But I would just kind of like to slow their descent upon us, if nothing else.
Ranged combat, and Emma is not an underwaterologist, so it's negative
Nope.
2 pips.
Oh no.
That's fine. That's fine. Let's see. This is gonna be bad. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine. That's a 35 over 15, so I definitely don't hit a mark, but
Yeah, it does look fucking cool though, and it makes an amazing noise.
good.
I'm getting the picture of like child using a crossbow. So like Emma has it, and then shoops, and then you kind of like fold up around it as it goes sailing off in that direction. You're like, oh shit, that's not at all how I thought that would work. Goes springing off. The divers who are coming after you, much better trained in the art of using harpoon guns. So let's see how they manage their end of it. Not so well. There are 2 spears. So you shoot one off, and you're like, yeah! And then there's 2 more that come by, just like on one hitting the bell and clanging, and the other is spearing slightly below where Sprocket is, a collection of metal now forming on the surface of this U-boat. They mean business. Frederick, you'll be able to wrench open the... you're not cutting the hatch. You stop it. You are able to cut the entrance into. It's been sunk for 10, 15 years at this point, right? So it's not going to be the kind of thing you can open and then shut. You've made a hole. You can get inside.
I think Frederick is kind of stuck for like, do I run away or should I help Emma? So kind of stuck.
I think I probably would have said something before ducking out, like you know, get into the U-boat, or like I'm gonna try and distract them, like do what you gotta do.
Okay.
So you would have known to like get in there. I will come join you as soon as I can, but like just your goal is to get inside. So
Okay.
All of that communicated entirely with hand gestures because you don't have telepathy or sound-powered phones to each other.
So it's you down, me out, and I just hold up the harpoon gun and then I leave. It's makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So, Emma, you are going to remain outside the U-boat, and Frederick is going to go inside the U-boat.
Well, I figure I will get back into the bell and then inside the U-boat the next turn. But my turn was spent outside, like getting out of the bell and shooting, and I can't.
So you
get
are
back into
outside the U-boat. Okay.
Yes.
Then we go back to the surface. Katarina, you have thrown the wrench, a spectacular defiance of the forces of Octopus. They also throw something back at you. It is high-powered automatic rifle fire, raking the sides of the boat where Sonya and Katarina and Pierre and Marquis Mark are scrambling about and going through their business. 73, not awesome. A 96, not awesome. Oh, a 22, that's not great. Okay. So this is, again, it's incredibly cruel of me as a GM. I cannot possibly pick, so I'm going to roll 1d4. There are 4 things on the deck of this boat that we could hit, and we'll see which one it is. Oh, it fell all the way. Okay, I've got good news and I have bad news. Do you want to hear the good news first? Yes, you do. That makes the joke funnier. The good news is that none of the people on the ship have been shot.
That's good.
V has already figured out the bad news.
Yeah.
Just gunfire raking through some of the apparatus. It is hardy. It's not broken down equipment, but down in the diving bell, you do hear like the sound of something going wrong, and the air pressure meter starting to wobble a little bit.
Oh, dear.
I will. Now, Marquis Mark is a sailor in Sitamayong shortly after the Second World War. There's no way he does not have a gun. In fact, I think it's fun if this boat has a shitload of guns. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Aaron. We agree, Aaron.
Yeah. So in that case, yes, then he is firing out. There'll be pistols for like fending off borders if you want to upgrade those other things with story points. That's on you. But your good friend, Marquis, well, one of your good friends, you've all become friends over the journey. You had time to know one another. Marquis Mark will also fire, getting a 15. Which is enough to you see like the ping off the side of the helicopter. Not going to be able to shoot it down with this pistol, but definitely able to. You see the exclamation point come off the head of the pilot as they wrench the helicopter around and start getting a little more distance. So Katarina and Sonya will go to you.
I hate helicopters. Crowdsourcing of ideas, just because I'm a bit desperate. Can anyone think of a way for me to persuade this helicopter to get closer to us? It's too far away, I don't like it.
Is there a harpoon gun on the side of the boat?
I couldn't
A
lasso
big, like,
lasso
ship-mounted
it,
one.
but I could harpoon it. Director of Operations.
We didn't establish there was one, so if you want to add one, that would be a story point thing.
How many story points for a harpoon gun?
2 for it to be something small, or 6 for it to be something really fucking huge, Mad Max cool.
I guess I'm not sure. What difference do you think the size would make to a helicopter? Like,
Maybe
is it distance? Is it?
a little
pulling?
one would be able to like hold it in place, but like you'd be pulling the ship around. It would still be maneuverable, but it wouldn't really be able. It still wouldn't be able to escape. If it were bigger, you run the risk on like a critical that it just like punches straight through something very expensive, and the helicopter crashes. Or on a normal success, you'd be able to hold the helicopter exactly where it needs to be. It wouldn't be able to get away. Does that make sense?
I will spend 2 story points for without going too near the edge, for a normal sized harpoon gun. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to. Oh, this is going to be really tricky. Okay, well, first I'll see if I can hit it.
Say for 2 story points that you've spent, it is not located right up on the railing. That it's like on a platform on the back, right?
good!
So it's further away from the water. That way you don't have to.
Thanks!
That's just a little gift from me to you.
Thanks! That's great, actually. That's very useful. Because I presume I have to roll range combat, right?
Yes.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh dear. There is no way to flip that to make that good. That was a 68.
Well, you have plenty of harpoons. What? Is just I don't. They come in as like stacks. Do you reel them in? I don't know. But this is the turret section of a video game. So under your ammo counter just has the infinity symbol, right?
Yay!
You're gonna be okay. Sonya, you said you were also going to return fire of some kind.
Yeah, whatever. Like, if this ship has got guns, not great with guns, but we can maybe I can maybe not focus on so much of trying to hit the helicopter. Maybe I can try and shoot in a way that it might push them a little closer to Katarina, so that she can, if like Katarina's like on the left with the harpoon gun, I'm shooting at them on the right. So they have to go left to avoid my shots.
Teamwork.
Roll ranged combat.
Well, that is a 29 over a 15.
Yeah.
Oh, a delight. So close. You get that. You can see the spark. This maybe if there were more higher caliber, something like that. If the helicopter were closer, different options. But it's hard to miss a helicopter. But pistol versus helicopter, that sounds like a terrible like Discovery Channel thing, like man versus bear, and you know how this isn't going to work out. So no damage to any of you. The machine is starting to sputter. That is the situation that we leave up on top. Back down at the bottom, Frederick, you're inside. Emma, it will take you a move action to get into the conning tower zone, but the action is working the way it is. You can fire one more time and still make it inside if you would like to.
Oh, sure. Let's go. I mean, it's not fun and cinematic if you don't make the shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I shoot again, but it definitely goes wide because that's a 49 over 15.
Yeah, physics, right? Like you're getting used to the controls. This video game metaphor is really building up in my head. So like tutorial section. But you were able to move back in before the shots come. We'll say it's more cool if you're moving in as they ricochet around you, but they don't get to roll because you're moving, right? So you shoot and then you're swimming, and then like the camera is looking up at you, and you can see the octopus forces like behind, kind of looking down at you, and then your little feet flippers push down into the U-boat as the 2 spears, or harpoons rather, just like plunk plunk off the side. While Emma was doing that, Frederick, what were you attempting to get up to?
So if I had the blueprints of the ship, I would have probably gone, okay, so I want to check, I want to keep moving away from this and get to the cargo hold, see what they have, because surely it'll be something that can help.
So the overall layout of the U-boat, when you get down to the conning tower, in the center will be like your control room, right? It's got the periscope, it's got the radios. As you move forward, there's the engine compartment. Well, technically there's the galley first. There's the kitchen, then there's the engine compartment, and then there is the stern torpedo tubes all the way in the front. Going backwards, you have the radio room, the officers' quarters, the enlisted quarters, and then all the way in the back, the aft torpedo tube. In terms of storage, this is very much like a shove shit wherever you can. But the most likely cargo places would be kept in nets above in the motor rooms, or stored in torpedo rooms around the torpedoes.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a question of forwards or backwards. We head into the rear of the ship or the front of the ship. Where do you think?
I think I'm gonna head towards the rear.
If I were secret Nazi alien technology, where would I hide? I would hide in the rear. Yeah. I saw the V just made a face that made me realize I made a joke that I didn't mean to. All right. Well, search is the skill to try to find something that you're looking for. Let's see how it goes.
Oh. It's a critical file. Wait, no, let me just double check. Yeah, my search is 65. This is a 66.
Well, then this is a good time to bring up that small penalty that happened with your suit. We said something went wrong with it, and as you are coming around, like it's been sunk, there are sharp edges everywhere, there are things that should not be where they are. What happens to rupture the integrity of your dive suit?
I think, given that Frederick is well aware that there are octopus like he's rushing way more, and so he's not very careful. So he might, I think, as it crashed and upended, maybe things kind of broke apart a little bit in the ship. So he, as he's rushing down inside the ship, he is running and stumbles over like a jutting piece of the flooring that is kind of now sticking out, and it catches and tears some of the thing around his leg, the suit around his leg.
Just like every sci-fi movie, right? You've seen The Abyss, so you hear your ears kind of like pop as the pressure changes, and then there's the bubbles coming off the below, and you're looking down. Emma, you come down through the conning tower swimming, and look left, look right, and you just see Frederick kind of like awkwardly float forward, and the bubbles coming up from the back of one of their legs. The people who are pursuing you, the underwater folks, it's going to take their move action to get to the conning tower and then down. So in the next scene, you will have octopus agents inside the tunnel, inside the U-boat with you. Much too close quarters for like harpooning range. It's all going to be melee at that point. Return then to the surface. Katarina, harpoon goes out. Pierre, valiant and excitable and not excited to be captured again, scrambling over and helping you grab this thing and wrenching it back forward and just rattling off very rapid, excitable French. So we'll say that it reloads the harpoon gun. Sonya, you don't need to reload because it's a pistol. You get more than one shot, but what are we doing now?
You're muted.
Yeah, I noticed that as the thing popped up on my screen. Maybe second time's the charm of trying to force this thing a little bit closer to where Katarina is. Unless Katarina had an idea.
I don't know if it would work. I would like. So can I tell whether they're more interested in shooting at us, at the diving equipment, at like the engine or like bridge area? Can I tell what they seem to be aiming at?
What you can tell is that they're not super aiming. They're more just like spraying to keep your head down to interrupt what you're doing. It's suppressive. The helicopter is more interested in keeping all of you tied up so the divers can do what the divers are gonna do.
Yeah.
I would tell you they can't hit the engine. It's inboard. So.
Oh, great. Okay. Good. That's nice. That's great. I would like. Okay, so this is like a big, really difficult thing, but I feel like we got to stop trying to get, a 15% chance on a ranged combat and use the things we're good at. So I would like to first of all get multiple people. So what I want to do is I want to get a bunch of people onto the other side of the boat, so to where we're sheltered by the middle upright bit of the boat, and all for the purpose of trying to draw that helicopter in to be like, shit, what are they doing over there? Something's going on over there. I need to go see it. They could do a big loop round, but easiest thing would be to come straight towards us. I want them as close as possible. It's just about whether, that's persuasive enough, I guess. I don't know.
In this case, there's bullets that fly, and then you dive, and he's like, "Yes, we have them now," and then orders the guy to fly directly over, as opposed to the other piece. Now, if that is part of the lure, and Sonya, you haven't used your action.
Yeah.
Do you want to attempt the harpoon? Or
Yeah,
something?
I can attempt the harpoon if Katarina is luring them. I can run over, grab that, and try to harpoon it.
Okay, so it's still ranged combat, but you'll get plus 2 pips for the range.
That's an 8.
Oh,
Okay. So, what is your ranged combat skill?
A 15.
Okay, so Sonya does not expect us to work, right?
No, I don't.
There's I imagine that like you're scrambling, there's bullets flying everywhere, and you just kind of like point that thing up and then pull the trigger, and then like that panel of the comic is you just like kind of cowering over it, and then the next panel is the like, because everyone is shocked as the harpoon just like thunks straight up into the bottom of it. So in 8, yes, you have it wrangled. The helicopter's not going to be able to get away without like ripping something expensive off of it. And because it's directly above you, that means anyone who wants to shoot at you is going to be at a disadvantage because they have to like lean out and try to shoot down. It's not going to work. So you've not marginally, that's a small word. You have greatly increased your chances of surface survival. Congratulations, Blair. On the topic of trying to survive, we are down in the U-boat. Now, very, very close quarters. Emma, you are fortunate because they cannot both go through that door. Anyone, go to Chicago, pay the extra $18, take the tour of the U-boat there. It'll make this part very, like, it'll make a lot more sense. This is, like, if you think, like, cramped, like, way more cramped. Barely enough room for one person to get through any particular hatch. There's maybe room for 2 people to stand abreast in a U-boat that has not been like compressed and twisted and full of shit. So the first of them is coming through. You still have your harpoon gun. I'll say this much. You, on a successful attack, you can make the choice to fire that harpoon. And whoever you hit they're not going to be your problem anymore. But you will no longer have a harpoon. So that is a choice that you have to make. So that
do
means
they have a spear gun? Could you steal that?
Yes. So everyone has harpoon guns except for Frederick. So if you can get theirs before they shoot, if they shoot you, it's going to be different because you're the hero, not a mook, right? That is the lineup there. They cannot get past Emma to get to Frederick. So Frederick, if you want to continue looking for things, you can.
I'm distracted by my suit. Situation. Like if I would imagine that I would have noticed it because I guess I can feel the watery press. So I'll probably be trying to do when I say a patch, like something to kind of like tie it off or whatever.
Nothing that very expensive Institute brand duct tape can't fix, right?
Of course.
Depending on the color, we could say that's a red tape roll. But
well, it it's not really a machine, but mechanics would be creating and repairing machines for 2 pips.
Yeah. So you can take that. Survival is appropriate. It is not. I wish it was vehicles, like you were in a friggin' underwater, like alien suit, but it's not. Engineering makes sense because you will have. It's essentially like maintenance, right? And 99% of engineering is maintenance.
Engineering it's the best for me. So I'm gonna try that one. Oh my gosh. Why? What is wrong with my dice? I rolled a 76.
Hey, could have been worse.
What the hell is that?
Can you spend the points to make it a 67?
Yeah, I think at this point I have to. Because I'm using my no, you know what? I'm going to use Tech Quiz. Because it counts for engineering roles. That is one of my skills. Yeah, it counts for engineering, and I can MacGyver it. So, yeah, that's a thing that I can do. I'll just MacGyver it real quick, and as part of my regular action.
So instead of doing it the appropriate way by using the seal kit and all that, what do you do instead?
I think that in a moment of panic, I see like maybe there's some tubing like lying around, and I'm like, just tie it off and get the hell out of here, because I'm like, I don't want to be around these goons. I'm not good at combat. This is not me. Yep.
Well, Emma is not super good at combat either, but doesn't have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, you don't have Frederick's combat paralysis, so it's either like Frederick going, I don't know what I'm doing.
Emma, what is your plan?
So, you said that they can only come down one at a time, which is great. And I still have my harpoon, which is also great. But here's the thing. We've already established I'm really bad at ranged combat. What I'm not as bad at is melee. So I would like to take the harpoon, and because the genre is what the genre is, I want to try and stab at like their scuba tanks on the back and try and pierce the one of the guy in front of me. So then of course he'll panic and have to swim up. And hopefully he won't be a problem anymore.
Yes, Ella.
Okay. You can also stab him. If you're making a called shot, it's at -2 pips.
It's worth it. I think it's worth it. I think if this works out, it's going to be really freaking cool.
Yeah. If it doesn't work out, it's going to be really intense. Do it. I hope it works.
Oh God, it didn't work. Oh no.
How bad did it not work?
7 over 45.
You said what?
Really? 97.
Oh.
So that did not work by quite a while.
Well, no, you know what it is? It's the water. The water's messing me up because I know when I'm doing hand-to-hand combat, I know how quickly I can like move things. But people move differently in water, and the weapons move differently in water, and it just I assume it's one of those things where he kind of like swims like down, and I'm like, ha, and then it's like really anticlimactic. It's like the harpoon just kind of like brushes over the top of the tank, and I'm like, oh no, I misjudged that real bad.
It's all happening in much slower motion than you imagine. In your head, it's playing out super fast, but as in the audience watching it, they just kind of see it's like the Austin Powers scene where they're just slowly,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he rolls a 62, which is above his. So we have a series where you are just kind of impotently clashing and tangling around, getting upside down, flippers everywhere. There's something vaguely kind of underwater ballet about it, but in a very violent way. The second person is not trying to fight you. They are departing to the front of the U-boat, where they will use their search skill.
Oh boy.
Which they have critically failed. So, it's Frederick. Emma's tied up, kind of like literally in a limb sense, you fix your thing. You see that happen, and then we're just gonna call it like a film blooper where the person goes to swim forward, and then you hear the clong of them banging their head on the bulkhead because they don't appreciate how small the U-boat is. So the person like is floating backwards with the motion, and you can see the water into the mask as my mask fills up with the background, right?
Oh no.
So he's not in a good place, and will be scrambling to get up to the surface because they do not pay you enough in Octopus to just drown for no reason.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that is the situation at the bottom of the U-boat. We return to the surface where Sonya Volkov has wrangled herself a helicopter, and Katarina, having been instrumental in making this happen, gives a cheeky, triumphant smirk. Like, now what?
That's my arch nemesis.
Can I use my incredible strength to rein it in like today's big catch?
Oh, that helicopter is that. Yeah, the harpoon, big harpoon, totally happy to let you reel that baby down in. Little harpoon, it is staying where it is. And I appreciate that you are a swole muscle mommy, but it's a helicopter.
It's fair.
It's-
I thought I could ask.
My actions may or may not help. Probably won't be able to get that far. But Katarina is backflipping onto the roof of the cabin and climbing up the rope to the helicopter.
Oh, that is.
Because of course she is.
You say it now and it's so obvious, but I did not expect it until you said it out loud.
Really? You didn't expect it? I'm seriously sitting here like, she's gonna climb the rope, she's gonna climb the rope, she's gonna climb the rope, she's gonna climb the rope. I knew it was
Why do
happening.
you think I didn't want the helicopter here so that we could just harpoon it? I'm getting that agility.
In my head, and I wonder if this is something that Katarina also realizes, is that she begins to climb. Make your agility roll for one, that's what we'll be doing. And then I'll finish that thought once we have some numbers in hand.
16 under 75.
Okay. Yeah, because in my head, I was worried that Katarina was going to get halfway up the rope and be like, oh shit, I'm over the ocean.
I was going to ask you, she's not thinking about that right now, but I would be interested to know whereabouts that happens.
Well, you've done incredibly well, so it's probably the case that Katarina is very, very focused on up, and will not realize that she is over the ocean until a later dramatic moment, if it matters, right?
Right.
So then, yes, Sonya, from your case, you see Katarina backflip onto the rope, like grab it Sonya on the top in like a leg lock, and then hoist and then just start climbing up the thing.
I would like to be able to throw someone down to you, Sonya, but I feel like that might take a while.
That's fair. Are any of them in there trying to shoot at her? Because if they are, I may try to shoot at them first.
Yeah, they're not specifically at her, just with the physics. Like, you have punctured this thing right in the middle. So for someone to lean all the way out and then shoot down, that's going to be kind of weird. You notice how I just left frame? So imagine instead of frame, it's the helicopter that I fell out of because I was leaning too far to try to shoot Katarina. But that does not say the same for Mark or Pierre or you or the breathing equipment or any part of the boat. So yes, there are targets available for Sonya if you'd like to do firearms.
Yeah, I will roll some arranged combat. It's not going great on that because I still only have a 15, but it's nice, but it's a 69 over a 15.
Well, you don't shoot Katarina, but there is a moment where Katarina, you are climbing up and you're like eyes on the prize, and then like a ping ricochets off the thing, and you're like, okay, not gonna look down because I know it's down there, but not okay.
Sorry.
Personal note: have a talk with Sonya when I'm back on the deck of the ship. But you know what? It's going well. They do get to attack. 96. It sucks. 40. Finally, I get to roll the dice. Yes. One of them manages to shoot. Same rules. There are 3 of you on deck, and then stuff. Actually, no, there's less because they can't shoot Katarina. But that's okay because I rolled the big number again, which means another raking line of gunfire going across the breathing apparatus. And at this point, it's not like a hiss, it's like a high-pitched like tea kettle whistle. As something is wrong with the pressure, you all can feel in the bottom. It's like in the cartoon when someone's standing on the rope and it's just like things are starting to get weird. That will
confirm with the setup whether there is the diving bell and their suits also have tanks, or whether their suits merely have pipes going to the diving bell.
They have actual scuba tanks.
They do have tanks, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not dependent on the diving bell. The diving bell is the only thing that's like tied to the surface and has extra air. Okay.
Just depending on how much is in the tank, how will they get up? Do you get the bends from coming up? You know, that kind of thing. Does something go wrong when a diving bell overpressurizes and explodes on top of a U-boat that is inside of a silver reef or inside of a coral reef?
Gotta try and fix that.
Well, we will have to wait a moment because we are inside the Unterseeboot. Frederick, you fixed your suit. The hissing is still happening, but it's a different kind of hissing. Whatever little air has escaped, not a problem. You remain conscious. Emma, you are continuing to have an embarrassingly slow motion, but otherwise very amusing undersea combat ballet. What happens next?
I'm ready to stab this guy. I don't care where. I'm just gonna kind of indiscriminately stab and hope I hit him at least once. Maybe that would be lovely, I think. Yeah. I swear to God, 68 of 45. It's really embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. This is the most embarrassing.
I think it's not yakety sax because that music is too fast, but it's very much like Blue Danube. As the two of you are just kind of tumbling around each other. I don't know if they'll do any better. They've all been rolling well. No, missed it by 2. So
Great.
Yeah. This game is really weird when none of us pass our rolls. It starts to get a little kind of awkward. Frederick cannot really engage in the combat. A, because you're you, and B, because it's the U-boat. But you have already done one search. The next one will happen at 2 pips plus because you're starting to narrow down what's going around. It is up to you.
Yeah, because the other person isn't much of a problem now. They're on their own, kind of trying to escape.
They have panicked and have like, oh god, I'm gonna drown. I don't get paid to drown.
Okay, so I'll do another search and hope to goodness it will be better. It's a 47.
I don't know if that's good.
It's. I'm checking. I think it's good.
Tone of voice and number did not communicate the information that I need. The suspense is killing me.
It's 65. Yes, 47 under 65.
Yeah.
So yes, that's good.
So it is not the torpedo room. It is not the enlisted quarters. It is the officers' quarters where you find the target of your investigation, which you weren't really sure what it was, right? You knew there was something in here. But I want you to guess collectively. Everyone in the room, we've talked about so much so far. There are 2 things in this room, one of which you will not guess, and we'll talk about in a second. The other one I'm sure you will. On the wall, in the officers' quarters,
Oh,
there is a gigantic
painting
Oh.
of a unicorn.
The Valkyrie thing.
the
Wait, what? Wait,
it's
is
like
that-
Hitler's favorite painting.
It's his
thing.
favorite painting. This is presumably not his copy, unless he was selling it to the Japanese for sentimental reasons.
Frederick, this is the part where it becomes interesting because the painting is not fully attached to its frame. It's kind of floating, wobbling around, right? And it's sitting in front of it are 2, I want you to imagine a car battery. It is not a car battery, but it's kind of that. And it's some kind of like waterproof casing. And then it has a curly, flexible electric tube that attaches to, on a handle, there's a big kind of like parabolic, like lens mirror flashlight looking thing. So there's a handle on the battery that you can carry it around like a very heavy chemical purse, and then a curly bit that attaches. It looks like ye old timey flash photography, but much smaller, much smaller. I will send you all a photo of this so you can see what I am talking about. Taking for granted that I am able to describe this correctly when it is one of those things you're like, okay, Aaron, that doesn't look like anything that I can recognize, right? Like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So I'm going to show you this picture, and then you'll realize that I was describing it correctly. It just didn't look like anything you thought.
Okay.
So there are 2 of those, which it matches the drawing on the back of the painting.
Right. Are there as I will, no sense of art or whatever, rip it further and see if there's any kind of language or anything on there, like conveniently.
Oh, there are schematics. It's written in German. You're looking at it's got ohm symbols and like the little thing that means like resistor, and your institute senses are going woo because it has all kind. You know what this is. This is weaponized Vril technology. This is a parabolic projector that is capable of firing, in theory, if this is right and it works, capable of firing counter-gravity bubbles, capable of lifting cars and things smaller than cars. This is the good shit. This is the Institute shit right here.
Okay.
Really should have asked Frederick more questions about that whole suspicious backstory that they got going on.
Probably.
Yeah. So I think what Frederick is going to do is tear away the schematics completely, and is going to try and fold them up as tightly as possible to like hide them in their toolbox that they've managed to keep with them this whole time.
It's still there, yeah.
The little toolbox, right? And they've stuffed it in there because they can't really get it into their suit at this point. Yeah. So
the toolbox is a supporting character we've established after the dramatic rescue in the warehouse.
Yeah. There's definitely like a waterproof pocket in there, even though like just to try and protect it somewhat. And then it's going to they're going to trash one of these and then grab the other.
Oh, what if they need both? What if it's a two-parter?
I don't know.
Is that clear from the schematics?
Wait, so there are two of these parabolic
apparatus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
2 batteries, 2 apparatuses. Apparati?
Well,
But you've
I
got the
would say-
schematics. You can put another one.
Oh, the schematics
Yeah.
tell you how they work. Whether or not you can build it is entirely like who knows.
right. Okay. If they don't tell me how to build it, if they don't tell us how to build it, then I won't do that. I won't trash it. I will kind of somehow tuck the toolbox under the arm and like try and grab these to bring them with me.
Well, theoretically, I'll be able to help depending on how the combat with this guy goes. So you maybe won't have to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
I will tell you that even in your underwater situation, like I said, it is waterproof alien technology, so an engineering or electronics role would be able to get it to work. You don't speak German, which makes it harder, but if Emma's able to translate, that would give you +2 pips. Emma cannot currently translate because she is
Occupied.
having a very dumb slap fight with a hideously unqualified move.
Occupied.
Octopied.
Oh, I think, oh, that's so good.
Mhm.
Oh, that's so good, though. It's so good.
So we'll return to the surface where Katarina has made it almost all the way up to the helicopter. What are you going to do when you get there?
Punch someone.
Okay, straight to the point. Melee combat to punch.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Would it
Well,
also be melee combat to to instead of go for a punch, to go for a
backflip.
the backflipping is happening during anyway. To like grab whoever's leaning out to shoot, pull myself in and try and I want to throw them out the helicopter.
Oh, like some airborne judo.
Can I use melee for that?
That sounds more like agility to me. But...
Oh, okay. I mean, agility. Yeah, agility. It's definitely. You're right. Oh, you're so right. It's agility.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing that then. Oh no, that was an 88 over 75. That's a critical fail. There's nothing I can do.
Don't you have a skill that lets you, or is that for lockpicking? Don't you have acrobat?
I've got movement checks at 2 pips. Spend a story point to flip. Yeah, it doesn't help.
Well, you can re-roll for 2, right?
Yeah, I'm going to re-roll for 2.
I would not...
How many people are in this helicopter?
There are 2 shooty goons, there's a pilot, and then there is like a comic book villain Nazi, like monocle and everything.
Is it my mate?
It is
my bestie?
not her.
Is it the guy I met in the boat?
The guy I met in the boat.
Don't know his name. I preferred. Anyway.
You saw his name on the manifest. Captain of the ship.
Put that somewhere. Never mind. I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend 2 story points to re-roll this and hope I get not a critical fail.
Yeah, because you do not want to critical fail out of an airplane into the ocean or out of a helicopter.
Okay, that's much better. That is a 19 under 75. That I can cope with.
Yeah, so you grab, he falls, Wilhelm scream, and then I'll leave it to your discretion whether you want to end up inside the helicopter or still hanging off of it. You can kind of set your plan in motion.
I would like to end up inside, but to preempt for next time, I think the point at which I'm throwing someone out of the helicopter, I think Katarina thinks we're above the boat. And I think she's trying to throw the nice person to Sonya, who's then going to finish them off. So I think at this point is when she looks down.
So, freeze on that thought.
Yeah.
Go to Sonya, who sees the Katarina climb all the way up, and the ship is moving and the helicopter is moving, and this is also very dramatically more interesting if instead of falling to the deck of the boat, this person that Katarina has thrown out of the helicopter goes, I'm going to say like 20 feet off the port side of the ship.
Yeah.
Falls, splashes into water. That's while... So that Katarina has performed that set of actions. That is what you see. What is your plan?
I hear all the really bad noises from the diving bell and all of that. So I'm going to rush over there and see if there's anything I can do to just stop it from making bad noises.
Okay. So move action to get to that area, and then it would be machinery to get things moving again. Katarina, so basing this on the first night so far, there's a part of you that's like, not only do I need to see what happened, I need to see if Sonya saw how cool that was.
Oh yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. God damn it. Yes, you're right.
And then you look over like, Katarina, or Sonya, did you see that? Ah! Because it is just beautiful blue turquoise water, meters in every direction. You are 15, 20 meters above the sea, and the only thing connecting you to anything resembling safety is this, like, really, like, in hindsight, kind of thin, definitely not as laddery as you want it to be, harpoon line.
Yeah, great, good.
Great, it's great.
I'm just gonna take that in for a while.
Freeze frame on Katarina is just like making the gulp noise.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Sonya, how did your mechanics roll go?
43 over 45. So yeah, I succeeded just barely.
So that will repair one level of brokenness to the machine.
Break out the duct tape.
Does not fully repair it, but there were 2 injuries, for lack of a better word to it. And you've got 1 back on the way. Returning Untersea. Emma.
Yes. Yep. No,
You can-
third time's the
you got
charm.
You got this.
Get better. What is that? All right, well that's an 89. So I'm gonna change my dice out next round.
For sure. And then we'll see what happens on that. Oh no. That's a 99. So it's really dumb if the three of you are just like tickling one another and then he accidentally knocks himself out, right? So let's pretend that this critical fail and your fail, they resemble cinematically a success. So in a universe where you had succeeded on your attack, what would that have looked like?
I realizing that this harpoon is just not quite working. I'm gonna try and I'm not very strong, but I'm gonna try and shove him back, like into one of the items that are hanging, because they have like the nets and stuff. So I want to shove him back into this net, or I want to try and shove him back into this net. And it would have like started to like I imagine that the cables and things would have gotten tangled up in like the hooks and whatever items and stuff were there. And then, they would have come like disconnected and things would have just started to go pear-shaped from there.
So you're gonna tie this guy up underwater and be like, your problem now, dude.
No, I'm trying to
Not
what
trying. You've
I wanna do-
already succeeded. Tell me what happens.
I'm trying to get the cables out, because like I'm not doing good at like actually hitting him. So like disconnecting cables and stuff
The
to like stop his.
like
yes.
his. Okay.
Yes.
So
Sorry.
cables,
Cables, tubes.
yeah.
Look it. I write other words. I don't write mechanical words. That's not.
That's a Frederick job. I have a nerd for that. You're not talking about cable. Are you trying to like tie this guy up with U-boat stuff? What's going on?
In
That
my
is
head, I'm
savage.
like, can't you
You're
see
gonna
what I'm
just
talking?
like strap him to the wall and be like, "You got 30 minutes here, buddy. Tap tap. See you around." That is like, you must know. Okay, I'm with it now. All right. So, Frederick, you have the equipment. You see this happening where Emma just yeets or yoinks the yeet is to throw, yoink is to pull. The tube out of like the back of the oxygen regulator, and the guy's just like grabbing behind him, can't find it.
Mhm.
You have in your hand, in each hand, a delightful car battery-sized lunchbox bit of alien apparatus. What now?
Yeah. Was there anything about saying whether it would work underwater?
Oh yeah,
Or-
no, I mean, so it's waterproof. It's got
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, it doesn't need a plug because it's got like a battery on it, right?
yeah. So tell me again. Gravity defying
Bubbles.
bubbles. Okay. So if I was to shoot or somehow aim it at the both of us, would we shoot back up to the surface so we could try and get away? Or would it be a kind of
You would levitate, yeah. Functionally, it cancels the effect of gravity within a bubble
Mhm.
for an amount of time, based on the power of the device.
right? So
you
it
can
would
turn it off again once you get high enough. Just keep going.
yeah.
into the atmosphere.
It would be attempting to get us out of the water very quickly, given that this diving bell is not doing very well.
Mm.
Based on what we can hear. Or I don't know. I think
Experimental technology.
yeah.
Definitely just shoot it at yourselves.
Okay, no. You know what? I think this is all the adrenaline is kind of left Frederick at this point, and it's like, okay, what's happening? It's like it will be shaking them at Emma and being like, I've got stuff, but you can't hear me. So it's just like
She has no idea what they are anyway. She's just like, some boxes.
Emma's like, you have found camping equipment. That's a really big flashlight. I'm
try and get into the game. Let's go.
I'm glad we came all this way.
Yeah. Cool. Hitler's sleeping bag. Yay.
Could have just gone to Dick's Sporting Goods, but we went to Sidomayang instead. All right.
Good use of time.
We'll try and swim past or swim up.
All of that is totally fine. And if Frederick is confused at all about how these devices work, you and Emma will soon have an example. Because do you remember when I told you the other people were carrying some kind of backpack apparatus?
Oh.
And as you begin to exit the conning tower, it is a noise like ear-piercing dolphin kind of sound. It has that very obvious sci-fi wind-up of like silence. And then a big, like a piercing blue-green iridescent, literally like a bubble of force, you'd imagine like very bad Doctor Who, like imprint of graphic over the film, right? Floating in your direction, but floating is kind of a misnomer. It's moving way faster than you would expect. That's how you know that it is some kind of ray, some kind of beam. It's not a projectile. It's moving entirely too fast through the water. On a 26, it does hit something, and the other one rolls an 83. So, Emma, will you roll your agility for me since you get to defend yourself?
That's upsetting. I rolled a 20 over 15.
No. Flip it.
I can't. I only have one story point.
Oh, damn.
So in one moment, Frederick, Emma is next to you, looking very surprised at this shock of green. In the next moment, Emma is ascending rapidly upwards, just like yoinked on a puppet string up towards the surface. The second one, meant for you, doesn't hit you. It flies behind you. The coelacanths! Which means several seconds later, Sonya, Katarina, you see two things come flying up out of the air, like imagine, in the movies they get the shot up by like a geyser. The effect isn't permanent, so you have Emma first flying up 5-6 feet in the air, 2 meters into the air, and then coming down and splashing, and then as Emma's coming down, like a Bellagio Las Vegas fountain, the coelacanths come up around her and also splash down. All of this happening all at once.
Okay. So they have the tools as well.
Yes. I will let you know that to use this weapon is a science check.
Okay.
Ooh.
You can use science or ranged combat.
Yeah. It's gonna be a science. It's gotta be a science. For my part.
The book says ranged combat, but it's not that hard to aim a flashlight, so it's the science part that I'm interested in.
Yes, science I can do. And I do so well with an 11.
A critical!
Yeah, under 65. So
you get a story point for your critical, but this means we've altered the narrative, because in order then, 1, Emma Beck flies into the air, landing amidst an explosion, a geyser of coelacanths. The coelacanths come flying down, and then Sonya and Katarina watching this, you're like, what the hell? Is that Sonya? Is that a coelacanth? And then 2 octopus people flying up into the air, splashing back down. Have you seen the videos, perhaps on TikTok or YouTube, where like you had to go koi pond and then they throw something in the water and all of a sudden there's fish everywhere? It's that kind of experience, but instead of koi, it's Emma, coelacanths, and 2 agents of the octopus. that is the information you have at your disposal as we enter your turn. Katarina, Sonya, what do you want to do?
Can I? Does Emma need to be reeled in?
I don't know that reeled in. No, I mean, you can swim, right?
Okay. Then I want to
Theoretically. Depends on what the role is.
Theoretically, I'm gonna continue patching up this thing.
Okay, right, because Frederick is still down there.
Yep.
So that's a roll from you, Katarina. You look down, but you're still safe, right? Helicopter's fine. It's not going anywhere.
I'm gonna Katarina's like there is a moment of frozen, and then there is a sort of like flinging back away from that edge, into the sort of center of the helicopter. And I think as I'm sort of flinging myself backwards anyway, I'll suddenly realize, oh, there are like still 2 people plus the pilot left in this space. All right. I shall elbow one of them as I fling myself into them while trying to escape the sea. So I'll melee, just trying to elbow someone in the face, I guess.
The accidental elbow.
Yeah. That is a 10. That's good. That is a 10. Is that a 10? Yes, that's a 10. Great. Under 55.
Wonderful. Well, the good news, 2 less Nazis in this aircraft. One of them you'd already pushed into the ocean. The second one, you go stumbling back, right? And you collide with the gender equality in Octopus, woman this time. Go colliding back with this woman. She tumbles out of the aircraft. You turn
out
around.
the other side. The other side.
So, you stop and you turn. You're like, what did I just hit? Nothing. There's nothing there because Sonya sees this woman comes falling out of the other side of the aircraft.
No.
And I like that. I like this because Sonya can't see into the helicopter, so you just think Katarina's kicking ass up there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure she's fine. I'm sure everything's fine in there.
But it's actually just blind panic flailing around. Now, that leads to a situation where of course, the villain moment, your arch nemesis, the octopus, Erwin Yeager, number 497. It's not information that you have, but everyone in Octopus gets a number. Turning around and says, "The White Ribbon, I am tired of seeing you everywhere we go. I will finish this personally." And clips out of their seat. And like the boss music starts to play because now you get to have a fist fight with the octopus Nazi in a helicopter.
I'll try not to go too near either that side or that side.
Emma Beck.
Yeah. Takes me a minute. Yeah, coelacanths everywhere. Oh god. Boat. Gonna swim to the boat. Frederick, I don't know. Frederick should be fine. The guys are there. The guys aren't there with Frederick. Frederick may be fine. I'm gonna get to the boat.
Yeah, you start swimming towards the boat, you move action, and then you hear that's the 2 people who you were worried about, maybe Frederick, into the air and splashing back down. In a way that renders them unconscious in comic book fashion because they are red shirts, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yes.
Which means Frederick, kind of alone down here all of a sudden.
Was there anything else on the ship to find?
Fred's taking his time.
Katarina, was something else on the U-boat?
I assumed not, but I may have got the plot confused. I thought they were exchanging the gold for the tech. So the gold would be on the Japanese sub. Someone remind me of the plot, because I definitely want gold.
One would think that was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But
What happened?
there's a shitload of gold in the front of that U-boat.
Just the gold first! Priorities, Frederick!
Okay.
Come on.
Well, okay. In which case, yeah. Can I raise this up? Can I somehow?
Submarine.
Or actually, no. Well, no. You know what? I'm gonna shove all the gold as much as possible into like a massive bag, and then
gold's heavy. There's
Yeah,
a
I know.
shitload out there.
But I'm gonna try and attach it to the diving bell and then shoot us up with this
I
thing.
don't remember the kilograms to troy ounce, but like this isn't a little bit of gold. This is
I
like
know, but I can reverse gravity.
I know, but I'm saying I guess what I'm leading to, which of these things
Yeah.
sounds more interesting to you? Playing pay to the heist and moving the loot one bag at a time, or lifting the fucking U-boat up out of the water with your anti-gravity gun.
Oh yeah. You know what? Let's lift the U-boat. It's a fun way of getting up there. So let's do it.
Yeah, you've got two of them, so it's the nerdiest like akimbo Rambo. It's not like Arnold Schwarzenegger with two assault rifles. It's Frederick with two anti-gravity alien guns, and like the Institute theme national anthem starts playing behind you, and the Institute flag is there, and like the Institute national bird screeches in the distance as you just let loose with these things.
The Institute isn't a government agency; it's a private agency.
Okay, well then, a very bland corporate soundtrack that plays on repeat in the lobby starts going, and like the Institute mission statement scrolls by in the background as you fire these things off, and there's a rumbling. It starts to shake loose. You see bubbles coming from around the U-boat as the air shifts inside, which means, Emma, you're getting up onto the boat. The coelacanths are finally like, oh shit, and going back into the water. Sonya like twists that last bolt into place, and then you're like, what is that sound?
What is this water just being
Like,
displaced?
there's this shape coming up from it, and then it's not like, it doesn't come up flat because that'd be boring as all hell. It comes up like a whale breaching, and then just front end first up into the air. If you've seen a picture of a submarine doing an emergency surface breach, it's beautiful. Google it now because that's the image that's coming into the mind. Comes up and then smash lands down onto the surface, and you'd be like, it's sunk, it should be sinking. And that's when you notice this green, bluish, shimmering, like iridescent soap bubble effect over the surface of it. Frederick underneath, looking up. It's fucking cool.
Cool. I wish I'd gone up with it, so I could have been like, I got your gold.
There is only one thing that remains. The adventure so close to being finished. Katarina, it is you and your nemesis. It is the White Ribbon versus the Third Reich in the helicopter hellscape Thunderdome battle for the end of the U-boat mystery. How's this gonna end?
Katarina is freaking out slightly. There's water on all sides. It's just very close to being near where she is. She's failing to maintain her composure. She's like glancing down from either side of this helicopter. She's trying to think of something witty to say, but she wasn't really fully listening to what this guy said. What I would like to do, could I say that this, so he's got a gun, right?
Yes.
I presume he's got a little handgun, not the thing that they were.
It's a Mauser, the one with you have seen this pistol in a World War II movie. It is the Nazi pistol.
Yeah. That he would like to shoot me with. I don't have a gun. So the first thing I want to do is get very, very close to him. fling myself at him so that he can't shoot me with his gun. And what I would like to do is I would like to look as if I am flinging myself at him, sort of flailing wildly, sort of too freaked out and not very good at fighting in order to do a good job. Which, shouldn't be too hard to fake. And while doing that, what I actually want to do, could I say that he has handcuffs on him?
Sure.
I mean, I've got 2 story points left, so I could spend them for me to have them. But I would like to pretend to be attacking him, but actually, I would like to be pushing and use sleight of hand, basically, to handcuff his gun hand to a random bit of helicopter. Because my speciality is not melee, but it is
Doing the
prestidigitation.
old prestidigidgeridoo.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that roll. Yeah.
Freaking out right here, guys. I'm freaking Fine. Everything's fine. 54 under 65.
Yeah. So he's giving his big, long-winded, nasty speech, and then you're like, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Ratcheting sound of a handcuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens next?
I'm gonna try and take the gun.
Easy. So he's
I'll
Grab
take
that.
the gun. Again, just very carefully in the middle of this helicopter. I'll keep the gun pointed at him, and I'll just sort of lean to the pilot and say, I don't suppose you could land this thing on that nice, stable-looking boat down there. Could you? Otherwise, I might shoot you or something. I don't know.
There's never been an action movie in the history of action movies where the hero does not point the gun at the pilot and the pilot does not agree, right?
Really carefully, though. Just slowly, carefully. There's no need to rush this. We're all calm here. Just safely.
There's a moment where you point the pistol at and you're like, oh no! And you're like, no. It's like, oh, right. One hand. The helicopter comes down to the deck of Marky Mark's ship. It was the scamp.
The classy scamp.
The classy scamp.
Classic.
The helicopter comes down to the deck, landing. So the harpoon rope spooling up as it gets closer, landing down. Katarina, you have the time. By the time that it lands, have you put on the Katarina game face again?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Katarina, the skids hit the deck. Katarina backflips out of the helicopter just because she can, and over the thumb, don't worry, if you were Nazis, no big deal.
Yeah. Love it. I will look at Emma with a you okay? And I'm like,
Just gonna give a little bit of a thumbs up. Yeah, everything's fine. All good.
I forgot something. I'm going to backflip back into the helicopter, and I'm going to take off my white ribbon headband and tie it onto Erwin Jaeger's head.
Nice.
Is it like a kerchief or like a bandana?
Like the same as what I've got. Just a little
sure, yeah.
headband.
Head tap, and he's
So cute.
scowling, shrieking in German, the usual. Sie won't get to have this. And thus we arrive in a sunset moment as the classy scamp turns back towards Sitomayang, the sun setting in the west behind you. We'll say you have this moment where you're on the bow, captured Nazis, captured octopus. Pierre sets up the camera. You all get in a line together, and you have that shot of the Troubleshooters, all of your friends, some stolen Nazi technology, and a shitload of gold. as the closing credits start to roll up from the bottom of the screen and the theme song plays.
As long as it's the actual camera that we're using and not the things that look a bit like that. Not that one!
So that is the U-boat mystery. How did you all find it? It was good.
I thought it was
fun.
super, super fun. I really liked the exciting campy nature. Quick question: Can I offer up one very short mid credits?
Do you want an epilogue?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Just very small as we're sailing away.
Have at it, James
and-
Gunn.
Emma and Kat are sitting not on the edge of the boat, obviously, closer towards the center of the boat, and we are recounting our tales. And I make sure to tell Katarina just how much ass I kicked when I was down in that boat. She would have been so proud. That fight was so intense and so good, and there was a left punch and a right punch, and I just it was like it was like watching an underwater ballet. I was so good. She would have been so proud.
I'm just gonna add, upon hearing all your exploits, that maybe you and Frederick and Sonya are pretty useful to have around, so maybe I can't manage everything entirely by myself all the time.
I like the two of you are lying to one another about how easy things were. You're like, oh, I kicked so much ass in the submarine, and Katarina's like, and I was amazing. Like, you should have seen me. Like wham, wham, bam, no Nazis, just totally on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, we are. Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, we get it.
So, but that's kind of what I love about this game, though. TBH is that it is fun and kind of campy, and it's there's a lot of really good potential for fun little moments like this amidst all of the silly comic book-ness of it all.
I feel like what I've really learnt about how to play this game that I feel like could be applied to other TTRPGs is this thing about playing to your strengths. Is this thing about don't think what the most sensible thing to do in this moment would be and try and do it. Think about what is your character's thing. How do I rearrange this entire situation, make that the thing? And I feel like this final half of the episode, I finally got that. I was like, oh, I'll just set everything up so I can do what I'm good at. Like, I don't have to do what it seems to be asked of me. No. And yeah, right. I should use that more. Like, that's great.
It also lends to the comedy of the game when you're like, okay, well, what mostly plausible thing can I do? Kenneth Haidt, amazing game writer. His name's on literally everything you've played at some point. Has this thing that for Night's Black Agents called the Bucharest Rules, and it's essentially like 10 how to keep a scene going, how to play a game without getting bogged down. And one of them is like, when in doubt, look at your character sheet, find the highest number and ask, how can I do that in this situation? And don't worry about being realistic, because no one ever does, right? Like movies don't give a shit if it's realistic. They say, what'd be the coolest thing that happens? Let's make it plausible enough in this universe that no one's gonna make a YouTube video about it and go from there, right?
I guess the hardest part for me, for the build that I ended up with, is that my highest level thing was contacts. So that doesn't. I'm not really sure how I would make contacts.
I mean, you got us Marky Mark.
Yeah.
That's true. I did get us Marky Mark.
It would have happened a lot more in a longer, like this story is supposed to be played over a longer time, right? I think it would have been much more relevant.
Yeah. It pushes more towards you are in New York. How do you find her this book? In a very kind of Call of Cthulhu kind of way. We kept the pace up because, like, no offense, but like if I'm watching an actual play and it's 3 hours of like searching the phone book with library use, I am changing the channel. So yeah,
true.
Frederick, Sonya, rather Lola, Aubrey, your thoughts?
I really like the story point system, being able to create things and being like, no, this warehouse has a skylight now, or there's this thing here and I declare it. That's always fun. And then the ability to like flip a roll or re-roll, always super nice, where you're just like, I really don't want to fail this, but if I flipped it, I would succeed.
Mm-hmm. The currency story points. The one thing I think we didn't get a lot of use out of was activating abilities, and I think that would come more over the course of a longer game when you have more abilities.
Because some of them are downtime things.
Yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, you can do this thing in downtime. But I really enjoyed the ability to like the gear and the way that kind of corresponded with it, and also the way that like there were many ways to succeed, as it were. It did say nothing of my terrible rolls for the majority of this session, but like the fact that you can get +2 pips or like, and they stack as well and so on, like I think that's really, it's a really nice way of being like, oh, okay, as well as upping the tension when you roll something, and the fact that you've got critical fails and critical so quite good. It's quite good. I like that.
That pip system, I was so worried about. I thought it was going to be so clunky when I read about it but like it adds a lot to the tension of the dice.
Yeah, I found the pip system. I absolutely agree with you. Like, it was really awkward when you were first explaining it, and then in practice, you're like, no, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask some dice math magicians what
probabilities.
Yeah, how does it improve your odds if you have +2 pips? Because I think that'd be cool. If this sounds interesting to you, even if it doesn't, I don't give a shit if you like it or not. Go and give them search engine traffic so they feel good about having paid us to play this game. You can find the Troubleshooters at the link in chat. We're watching it right now. We'll hook you up. If you're listening to this in podcast, it is helmgast.se/en. Helm as in helm of a U-boat. Gast as in GAST. To find your copy of The Troubleshooters, a game by Krista Sunderland. Also, I found out an Emmy nominee the year it came out. Did not win, but there you go. Just like the crew of a U-boat is critical to the U-boat succeeding on the great ship Queen's Court Games, we would be sailing nowhere without this cast. So, in order of my camera right now, we will talk about where folks are from, what they're doing, where you can find more of them, and again, any closing thoughts you have about your character or about the U-boat. First in order, she is the royal audiologist, producer over at Goblins and Gays, currently making the huge mistake of inviting people to play in a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, which means when this is over, they'll be searching through roughly 700 applications from people who want to play the game. As race car driver, machine repairer, story point spender extraordinaire, Sonya Volkov, it is Aubrey. Pretend I've asked you the normal questions.
I am Aubrey. You can find me everywhere on the internet at MacQueen Cosplay. And yeah, as Aaron said, as I am the producer over at Goblins and Gays as well. And yes, I believe by the time it comes out, the form will be closed, but go pay attention to Goblins and Gays for Last of Eden's Vices, a Vampire the Masquerade actual play coming to Twitch at some point in the fall.
Adjacent Aubrey. Oh, I got that wrestling announcer thing going there for a second. I did not mean to go full on like, and then it's Katarina with the steel chair in the helicopter, but it definitely just happened. Adjacent Aubrey, we have the Queen of the Court, I wanted a word that rhymed with artiste, but I only got to beast, and that's a rude word. So I'm going to workshop that, get back to the next episode, because we play all the time, because she is the co-founder of Queen's Court Games and a regular on the cast as journalist Emma Beck is Locke.
Hi, that's me. I'm V. You can find me everywhere on the internet at V is for Vampire, because my name is V. And I, like the 700 people that are applying for Aubrey's game, like vampires. We're over on Blue Sky now, so you can find us there. I'm also on Twitter and all of the normal places. You can see art that I do over on Twitter. You can also find art over on our Patreon that I just released for patrons. And actually, last month we had a special guest artist do the wallpaper. Some amazing artist named Shamini did this really cool Troubleshooters wallpaper with like the whole cast of the Troubleshooters, and it's like really cool. I think she's like amazing. So if you like cool art that nobody else gets to see for your eyes only, go thumb to our Patreon. Little as $5 will get you in the door. You get a whole bunch of cool stuff. So check it out.
But before you do that, also go check out one of our 2 incredibly special guests. And now they're panicking because they have not intuited which one is going to be the case. And they're like, is he going to call on me? I don't know. Well, I have bad news for you, Lola Brown. You're up next as Frederick and Dejardin with the supporting cast of Toolbox McToolface, Institute Jet, MVP of the show. Lola, if people want to see more of you, more of your games, more of the Toolbox, more of the Institute, where should they go?
I think the real question at the end of the game is actually, did Sprocket come back up with us? But I don't know.
Oh, that's gotta be the very final thing. Like after the MPAA SAG union card at the very, very bottom, the screen comes back up and then there's just like boop, and then Sprocket floating, because there's gotta be like some kind of like little compartment in it that has like an anti-sinking Frederick invention, like a little like gas canister. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yes. So I have been Frederick, and otherwise I am Lola, and you can find me at Third Vault Yarns on the internet, everywhere, on the Not So Bird app anymore. I'm still calling it the Bird app. Fuck, blah blah blah, whatever your name is. And also on Blue Sky and Instagram and Threads and stuff at Third Vault Yarns. But you can find me over on itch.io with some of the games that I write, because I kind of do that too, sort of, a little bit. And there aren't that many at the moment, but there are lots coming soon. And that is under Johnson O'Fair.
And you're going to let us run an actual play of them for this channel, right? Like that'd be a thing that you would do?
Yeah. I mean, I did be like, hey, I have this game that you guys can play test, so...
Watch this space for more information, including information like, what is a living fossil? How cool are coelacanths? Can I do a backflip here? These questions and more answered by Katarina. Fair played by the brilliant and wonderful Shamini Bundo. Shamini, people want more of this stuff, and of course they do.
You want more. I want to leave them wanting more backflips. I've enjoyed this character so much. I'm like, I need to make more characters that just... So, I had a character flaw called overconfident, and I'm like, no, that's actually just fun. Like, just do that. Why not? Backflip in the helicopters. I need to do that more. So I've learned a lot. Perhaps I shall put it into use in some of the other shows I'm on. I'm currently accidentally on 3 shows that all go out on a Monday. That's happened. So earlier in the day, if you're a live Twitch viewer, you can find me on RP Geeks at RP Geeks D&D. We're streaming our Absalom Files sci-fi campaign at 7 p.m. UK time, so some hours ago now. And I am also currently briefly on, if you like your special audio for your ears, Realms Pod, another sort of sci-fi cyberpunk cyborg campaign. It's sort of cheesy and sort of gritty and horrible. Find 5 parts. Find that over on Realms Pod, and you can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram. Search Shamini Bundell. It's just me. They're all me. It's me. Find me.
And if there's another Shamini bundle, they'll have worse search results because this one is cooler. Okay, we went two very different directions.
Okay,
with
I mean,
that.
sorry, what you said. Yeah. Just algorithms, yeah.
In the meantime, I have been Aaron, your storyteller, your director of operations. You can find me at Aaron in Words. Mostly, I will be, at the time of recording, complaining about the lack of themes in role-playing games and actual play. Watch this space if you want to hear me get really up my own butthole about literary, foundational story elements. That said, all the many, many more interesting things I do at Queen's Court RPG on Twitter, Queen's Court Games, literally everywhere else, mostly Blue Sky. Go get on Blue Sky because it's more fun there. I think the vibe is better, and I'm tired of the little icon not knowing what it wants to be. Bleh. Else, you can find me at Aaron in Words on all of those platforms. We will return next week with the premiere of our Chaosium-sponsored Call of Cthulhu game, Harlem Unbound, set in with an all-black cast in a not racist retelling of the classic Lovecraft myth, featuring Noir Enigma as our GM, with Laura Tutu as our producer, and some more cast that will come. Do not miss it. It is going to be literally one of the most excellent things that happens this year on this channel, nay, on any channel. And that will start same time, but 3 hours ago. 1 week for now. Until then, see you soon.
Bye for now.